Right. Yay. All right. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Although I don't see anyone here yet, but I know they're coming. Uh, I am live here on the interwebs on YouTube. Uh, well, what am I going to say? Oh, yeah. Well, hi. I'm back. Damn it. There's nobody here. There's nobody here talking, and now I feel all weird and everything. I don't even have an audience yet, but it takes a minute for the people to get to. There we go. Now I've got people. I'm seeing people. Hi. Hello. All right. So the reason I'm doing this particular stream, I saw there was a tweet, Yellow Flash tweeted this out this morning. And it was, matter of fact, let me do screen share. He tweeted this out, and this is from David Jaffe. Let me pull a tweet out because I thought it'd be interesting, and I would love to get some opinions from all of you guys out there watching, because this one really, I wanted to, it kind of hit home for me. So let's see if I can get it. Okay, so this is David Scott Jaffe. Now, if you don't know who that is the gentleman that created the Twisted Metal video game series. He also created God of War. A little background on him. He is an Alabama boy like myself. He was born in Birmingham, Alabama. I was born in Huntsville, Alabama. So yeah, he's an Alabama boy like myself. And he tweeted this out. He's like, choke on this, you racist fucks, black motherfucking superheroes all damn day. I don't want to hear another word about Marvel forces diversity and SJW bullshit. Man, fuck you, neckbeard motherfuckers. Kids need heroes, including ones that look like them, especially now. So that is David Jaffe. And he said, yeah, and I don't disagree with this statement, but this image was drawn by, what's the guy, Luciano Vaccio, who has me blocked. This is the person that created the safe space and snowflake for the new Warriors. This is that person that tweeted those images out. So it got a little weird for me. But I want to actually, I was looking, because Yellow Flash tweeted this out, and from David's timeline, and I looked at the superhero, and there's a lot of them there I just don't give a damn about. But I actually want to go through this list. I want to go through this list of superheroes and actually see. Hold on, see what's going on. I want to actually show you guys. If I can pull it up. Okay, so these are the superheroes. There's a few here that I just absolutely love. Right here at the top, my man, Cloak from Cloak and Dagger. So it's like, I'm a big fan of Cloak. I don't even know some of these superheroes, if I'm being honest with you. That's what's his name? Blue Marvel. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not really a Blue Marvel fan. Yeah, Kanan loves Blue Marvel. I'm not really a Blue Marvel fan. What's the guy? Kevin Grievo. I know he created him, and all the power to that brother. But yeah, I gotta be honest. I mean, a lot of these characters I liked when I was a kid. So since this is a newer superhero, I guess I don't have. But I've had a lot of people tell me, man, you gotta read Blue Marvel's dope, blah, 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 blah. I don't care about Blue Marvel, but I hear he's fantastic. So, obviously, there you go. War Machine, love War Machine. James Rose, love him. It's Sam Wilson, Falcon, although I don't like this costume redesign. They keep changing his costume. I don't like that. There's a Okoye from the Dora Milaje. I don't, although I love Christopher Priest's run on Black Panther. The Dora Milaje never were, to me, they weren't superheroes. They're there to protect the king and serve Wakanda and all that kind of stuff. So now they're superheroes. So it's like, I don't care about that. There's I don't even know what her name is now. Her Monica Rambeau, They called her Photon, and she's had like 3 or 4 different names because they can't figure out what her name is. But she was Captain Marvel when I was a little kid. She had like an afro and all this, and I was like, okay, but her name was Captain Marvel when I was a little boy. Maybe as you guys see some of these images, you can tell me who the hell these people are, because I don't know. Because one thing I noticed about this, he put all the crappy characters on the inside here, like Riri Williams. I really don't like Riri Williams. I'm not a big fan. And that's not because I'm a bigot and I'm against change. It's because, I just thought Riri was created for the wrong reason. So, but yeah, so I'm not a big fan of Riri. There's Storm. Love Storm. Okay, this is Valkyrie, but it's not the Valkyrie that I grew up with as a child. Valkyrie was a white woman with blonde hair. That's the Valkyrie I recall when I was a child. And I don't know what all's been. I stopped reading Marvel. So maybe she's actually, it's just they probably did the same thing they did with Nick Fury. And this black Valkyrie is now Valkyrie in the main universe. So I don't know what all's going on there. So, but like I said, you guys can drop it in the chat and let me know. I don't know who this character is. I thought it was Rage at first because there was a character on the New Warriors called Rage, but I don't think that's Rage. But if one of you guys know who this person is, I don't know who this character is. I've seen this character with the little bee wings or whatever, or the wasp wings, whatever this. I don't know who this character is. I see she's got like a star on her chest. Somebody tell me who that is. I don't know who this is, although I think this character, is the son from the alternate universe, the son of T'Challa and Storm. Because he's like flying and he's got a spear in his hand. They always take black characters, and black characters got to have a spear. You got to know the black, he's black, he's African too, so he's got to have a spear. So, and he got the dreads, so he's ethnic. He's got that real ethnic look. But I know the son of T'Challa and Storm is he has mutant abilities, plus he has the powers of the Black Panther. So it's so I think that's who that is. I'm just saying that because he's black with dreads and he's got a spear and he looks like he's flying there. But there's Bishop. I love Bishop. Been a fan of Bishop for like 30 years. What's that? Moon Girl? Don't care about Moon Girl. I know that's not popular. She's I've heard all this. She sets all these scholastic records and all this kind of thing. Yeah, okay, so Rage isn't in there. Okay. Yeah, and see, you okay, Geek Hero Bubba, you about to ruin, because that's one of the things that pissed me off on this. I look at all these damn superheroes and there was no Night Thrasher on here. They got all this bullshit on here and there's no Night Thrasher. So hold on, let me make sure, because I had invited some people. I'm trying to make sure that nobody is trying to hop in. If anyone is trying to hop in, I want to make sure that I get them in here so they're not sitting there waiting. Okay, but yeah, there's no Night. They did Lucio, like again, and Lucio got me blocked. I've never interacted with Lucio Vascio or whatever his name is. Or her name or whoever. I've never interacted. I'm assuming I got blocked just for being part of Comicsgate. So so can someone tell me who the hell this character is then? If that's not Rage, I don't know who it is. Let's see. Let's see. See, what about David Jaffe tweeted that he wasn't fetishizing, glamorizing, or romanticizing when he posted his black hero list. But that is exactly what. And like I said, I thought it was bullshit. But like I said, obviously I'm black. I want to see black superheroes. But now this is Black Nick Fury. I actually like Black Nick Fury, but I miss white Nick Fury. I don't know. And I understand the business. I've read, there's been a lot of articles written about why Nick Fury had to, the white Nick Fury had to go away, because they thought that because of the popularity of the MCU movies that they had created brand confusion. When the people go to the movies and they see like Avengers or any of the, Iron Man or any of these movies, Nick Fury would show up and it's Samuel L. Jackson, who's obviously a black man. But when they would go to the comic book store and say, hey, man, you got any S.H.I.E.L.D. books or whatever? Nick Fury was white. So they decided, hey, we got to get rid of the white Nick Fury and make it happen where his son Nick Fury Jr., who had another name, and then they say, oh well, he's actually Nick Fury's son, so he's Nick Fury Jr. And he was just going under an assumed name, but now that everybody knows he's Nick Fury's son, we actually got to give him that name. So either way, but I don't have a problem with Black Nick Fury. I love, but I'm an old school Nick Fury fan. I like the old Nick Fury. And another thing, Marvel said that, he was one of those cigar characters. It was like him, Logan, the Kingpin. That was another thing I liked about him. And now Marvel says you can't have the characters smoking and shit. So the characters can't smoke. And so that's one of the things. That was always a thing. I see Nick Fury holds up a big ass rifle and he got a stogie in his mouth. I was like, I love that. And I don't even smoke. I don't smoke cigars. I don't do any of that stuff. But I don't know. Especially I love watching Jim Lee draw smoke and do it. Or you see like John Romita Jr. when he was on Daredevil and he'd be drawing the Kingpin. And Kingpin would have the cigars and all this kind of stuff. I love that stuff, man. And now you're saying, oh, you can't have these characters smoking, so it ruins them. So it's the whole thing's bad. So let me see. Let's see. What about says I like Black Nick Fury, especially thanks to Sam Jackson. Yeah, I do. I do as well. Eddie Winkler for $2. Thanks for the super chat. Morning, sir. Hope everyone is staying safe and safe. Well, I'm trying to say I'm definitely practicing safe distancing right now. Lightning fan, I see you in there. Let me see. Adrian Blum. I love the old Nick Fury. Punisher arcade game. Yeah, I have that game, by the way. I have a MAME emulator and I can play it. And the Kingpin's like the final boss and everything. But like I said, I don't care about Moon Girl. I don't give a damn about Moon Girl. I like Black Nick Fury. There's Blade. Like all the characters I have that I like and care about are like way tiny. They're small. I'm having to zoom in on them. They're small and in the background. But obviously I love Blade. Blade's a dope character. I love Blade. So that character right there, obviously Luke Cage, loved him. Steve Englehart. I had Steve Englehart on, and that's, I had Steve Englehart on this channel last year. Matter of fact, that's going to be one of the, like for anybody who watches this later, that's going to be one of the videos that you can watch at the end of the video. So it's on my creators playlist. But when I had Steve Englehart and I interviewed him for almost 2 hours. And he created Misty Knight. He also created Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu. He created Star-Lord. He created, what was that? Mantis that was in there. So that is, Misty Knight's a cool character. Obviously, there's T'Challa. I love him. T'Challa created by a non-black person. Well, two non-black people. Obviously, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. So that is... yeah. So okay. I've been hit and miss on Miles Morales. I'll give him a thumbs up, but I've been hit and miss on Miles Morales. Sometimes I like him, sometimes I don't. It is what it is. But there's Brother Voodoo. Brother Voodoo, who is so small, it looked like a woman back. It looks like the way John Romita Jr. used to draw Rogue back in the X-Men, back in 85, 86 when he was on the run. And Rogue first joined the team, and she had that real short hair and the skunk stripe down the middle of her head. That's like you could color swap that and just say that's Rogue. Like that's Black Rogue. So their silhouette. Let me see. Their silhouette from the New Warriors. She was Night Thrasher's girlfriend, and her brother was Midnight Sun or whatever the hell. And him and Night Thrasher didn't really trust each other, but they both love Seal, so they got along. And then Midnight Sun did some dumb stuff, and she ended up getting shot because of stuff he was doing. He was trying to be a little bit more militant. And let me see here. But there's I can't remember her name. Shuri is the Black Panther, which I don't care about Shuri. It's harsh to say that I don't care about Shuri. She was okay in the Black Panther movie, but if I don't see Shuri again, I'm okay with it. And that's not because I hate black heroes. It's just because I don't care about Shuri. And this character, I think, He was part of the Young Avengers. He's the grandson of the real first Captain America. I can't remember. What's it? Isaiah Bradley or Isaac Bradley? I can't remember. I'm pretty sure that's who that is. That's Captain America, the black Captain America that they illegally experimented on. They gave him a bastardized version of the super soldier serum, and it drove him crazy. But he had to, obviously passed it on in his bloodline, and that young man right there is the grandson, which I didn't have a problem with that character going back. But let's see. But yeah, no Night Thrasher, and that pisses me off. I just love Bishop. Somebody, like I said, tell me who this Wasp character is here. I don't know who that is because I'm not following all. I stopped buying this stuff because I was just like, why are they putting this crap in here? I just don't know. So you guys can explain to me who these people are, and I just let's see. Let's see what's going on. Bishop is barely yeah, I agree. Bishop is barely recognizable there. And the big problem I had with the image was that they, like I said, they put him in the background. So all the characters I actually gave a damn about aren't there. And that's let's see. That's Ironheart. Yeah, it's well, I'm assuming you're talking about the one in the middle, Ironheart Riri Williams. Yeah, that's Ironheart Riri Williams. Yeah, it's definitely and who I don't care about. It's like I hate to say that, but I mean, and the thing about Riri is when they had her original Iron Man costume, I actually liked her original Iron Man costume a little bit better. It wasn't quite that feminine, but it seemed like it had a better design. And then they decided to do all this multicolored stuff, and it was weird. And so I'm not really into it the same way. So I'm not sure how that all works. But yeah, I'm not really into Ironheart. So yeah, I'm not. I don't know. I guess that makes me a bad person. I guess I'm supposed to just automatically love all these black heroes because they're black. What about Brother Voodoo? You never heard of Brother Voodoo? Okay, what about? You've never heard of Brother Voodoo? Oh my God, that's the thing. Brother Voodoo goes back. Brother Voodoo goes back to the 70s. I'm trying to think. I think he's a Marv Wolfman creator. Let me look him up. Brother Voodoo is definitely someone you should check out. But they even had a storyline a few years ago. He replaced Doctor Strange as the Sorcerer Supreme. But let's see who created him. Okay. Brother Voodoo was created by John Romita Sr. and Lynn Wein and Stan Lee and Roy Thomas, kind of with the co-pilot. But yeah, go back and what was his first appearance? Let me see what his first appearance was in. Strange Tales number 169. He came out in September of 1973. So that is when we got Brother Voodoo for the first time. Let's see here. Why does Captain Marvel's costume look exactly like Aurora? That's what I think they're trying to streamline it. Like I was saying with the thing about why Nick Fury had to be replaced by Black Nick Fury, because I accepted, okay, in the Ultimate Marvel universe, when you go to the Ultimate universe, Nick Fury happens to be a black man. So that's what it is. Okay. But then you go to the movies, and the movies are making hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, the Marvel MCU movies have done like about $4 billion, $5 billion. So when you're doing billions of dollars, and that causes brand confusion because they go, wait a minute, when I go to the comic book store and I ask for a book with Nick Fury in it, he's white. And I go to the movies, and then I noticed they started making sure he was black in the cartoons that they were doing. and they were making sure that he was, so he, Nick Fury had to go, or at least the white Nick Fury had to go, and now he's black again. I liked white Nick Fury. That's who I grew up with. I grew up. What's my man that used to? Yeah, I can't remember. He's got the white hair. Damn, he's real cool. Man, I can't remember that artist name. I follow him on Twitter. I can't remember. He's real old brother. I can't remember his name, but damn. But he is it damn somebody chat help me out, man. I can't remember some of these older creators that used to work on Nick Fury back in the day, like when it was Nick Fury Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., all that kind of stuff. So let me see. Let me see. I know about Voodoo from playing Marvel Contest of Champions. Okay, so they just threw him in there. Okay. Let's see. The name Brother Voodoo is funny. Sounds like something from, and it was from the 70s. So there it is. That's he was from the 70s, and that's one thing. And I talked about this in my conversation with Steve Englehart when he was here. It seemed like in the 70s you had all those blaxploitation movies and everything. So all the superheroes that were coming out, they all had like afros, and they'd be like, "You jive, sucker. I'm not you're not gonna trick me, Dr. Doom, you jive, sucker." That's the vibe you would be getting from these characters. So it would be them trying to talk, and then they all, like I said, everybody had afro, like Misty Knight, everybody, they were all Afrocentric. They was like, matter of fact, if any of you were watching, what was that, about 2 months ago, month and a half ago, I had Kanan on, and we were talking about, like, because me and him had discussed this segment where he would take characters that had bad costumes, and then he would redesign the costume. Oh, Steranko, yes. Steranko, yes. That is Steranko. Was it Jim Steranko? That's who I'm talking about. Yeah, he drew S.H.I.E.L.D. for his run on S.H.I.E.L.D. You can go and collect the trade paperback. That stuff is classic. It like mixed a little like James Bond vibe in there and all that stuff. He's like Nick Fury, he'd be drinking a little cocktail, doing the international spy thing, and flying around. The S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier was like a big it looked like the Hindenburg or something. It was like a blimp. But it had like all the computers and stuff on it. Now it's like an aircraft carrier that floats, and it flies around, and it has like a cloak on it and all that kind of stuff. But back in the day, it just was like a blimp with some computer stuff on it, and they could track. The S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier was just flying around, and it was a blimp. And they'd be like, "Okay, we need to go to Chechnya and do this or whatever." And Nick Fury would show up, and he'd dress up, and he always, he'd be, have his little spot. They were mixing like James Bond, because it looked like, I think that's what Stan Lee was wanting. He was wanting to kind of have more of like a James Bond type vibe. And if I recall, they did that to Wonder Woman too, because they started saying, but that was obviously, that's DC, but they started saying Wonder Woman. They was like, this whole thing with her and these red, white, and blue glitter shorts and all this in the lasso, all that stuff is kind of passe. So they made Wonder Woman like a secret agent. She lost her abilities, and she became like a kung fu character. You can look those books up. I'm not making this up for anybody that thinks I'm bullshitting. You can go look. They had Wonder Woman like in like a white leisure suit, and she was like a martial artist. And then everybody, I don't know how long they ran that for, like a year or so. And then he's like, this shit is whack. And then they had to bring the real Wonder Woman back. But she had lost her ability. They had made her like a mortal, and but she was still rich because she was a princess of the Amazon or whatever. So she still had money. So she had a private jet and all this kind of stuff. But they were trying to update her, and they were trying to make her. They was like, oh, okay, she's like she's still getting into adventure, but she's not part of the Justice League or anything. She was kind of doing the same kind of stuff that Nick Fury was doing. She's going around, infiltrating and doing, she's showing up and getting into kung fu fights and all this kind of thing. It's interesting, kind of like going back in time when you look. It's like when you look at comics from like the 40s, when I've had a few conversations about how DC handled the Captain Marvel and the Master Society of Evil. They had cleaned those images up and recolored everything, and they were getting ready to print the book out, and they started looking, and they had all these like kind of they had all these commentaries about like Japanese people and stuff that obviously don't fly now, but those were what were published at the time. We were at war, and they go, "Oh no, this book is racist. We can't print this." After they had spent all that money getting the book redone. So I thought, and I'm a Captain Marvel. I keep saying, I tell people, and people think I'm crazy, I love Captain Marvel more than I love Superman, because I like the idea, I like the idea of the little boy that, says the magic word and becomes this adult superhero with all these responsibilities and all that. I always love that. And Captain Marvel was outselling Superman by a pretty large margin. Superman almost went out of business, but the lawyers saved Superman. DC got their lawyers to sue. I think it was Fawcett Comics, because I think there was Wiz Comics and Fawcett Comics that I've seen at different times on Captain Marvel. They would print these books, and there would be multiple, because they had like Captain Marvel Jr. It's like, okay, we'll put this out through Fawcett, this one's time, blah, blah, blah. And they would put out, it'd be the same company, but it would have different logos and stuff on it. But there's old Captain Marvel comics that have Wiz Comics on it. There's old Captain Marvel comics that have Fawcett Comics on it. But I think the comics, Fawcett was the original publisher, if I'm not mistaken, but someone can correct me on that. I'm not claiming to be an expert, but I know I've seen the old covers with like Fawcett, and I've seen some with Wiz on it. But Superman couldn't even fly. Everybody forgets that Superman couldn't even fly. Superman couldn't fly. And if you remember, like if you listen to any of the old movies or the old radio serials, he's like able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. That's what Superman could do. He could jump real high. He jumped. Like if there was a plane flying in the air, Superman could jump up there and hop up and catch the plane. He couldn't fly. Captain Marvel could fly. And then Lex Luthor wasn't bald. He had hair. And what was it, Dr. Shivago or whatever, Siobhan or whatever, the evil professor that was Captain Marvel's main nemesis. He was bald, obviously. He fought that little worm too, but I was like, but the Shimashang, he was bald, and so they started changing Captain Marvel and making him more. They started changing Superman and making him more like Captain Marvel, i.e., he could fly where he couldn't fly before. These are things that they changed. So let me see what all you guys said. Let's see. He once slapped Bob Kane high. He's great. Oh, you talking about Steranko? Yes, Steranko's the man. I love Steranko. Let's see. Luke Cage with the tiara. They had horrible. That's why I want Kanan. Kanan is like all like in his hermit mode right now, but he's working on my pages and stuff, and he's doing layouts, and we're getting ready to draft the next series of pages. But it's hard to get him. I was like, hey man, come on, do a stream with me or something like that, and it's hard to coax him. And I'm like, at some point, I'm like, it's like pulling teeth to try to talk him into doing the stream. But as long as he turns these pages in, I'm gonna be all right with it. But yeah, big fan of Steranko. But all this, like I said, there were a lot of those black Marvel superheroes, a lot of the black DC heroes. Their costumes were horrible. They all were horrible. I look at even I remember seeing old John Stewart when he came. I mean, he had the Green Lantern costume on, but he had a big old afro. It was like John Stewart. He had the Green Lantern, but he had an afro. Every black character had an afro. That was weird when they did the was it Demon in the Bottle storyline with Iron Man. Iron Man's drinking too much, so James Rhodes has to trick the Avengers and be Iron Man when he's not around. So, and he can't tell everybody that he's not Tony Stark. They know that storyline. It sounds absurd when I talk about it now that Iron Man didn't, they know he's Tony Stark. They know Iron Man is Tony Stark. But whenever he's around the other Avengers, he never gets out of his costume. And I noticed David Michelinie was having him talk like with black talk or something. he would be in the Iron Man costume and going, "Yeah, you suckers," and it was like it was weird the way Rhodey would talk. I'm glad he doesn't talk like that anymore. It was I was just oh God. Let's see. You're just jealous they have hair. I don't want that kind of hair. Actually, there's some old photos of me. I don't know if I'll ever show them. But my old school pictures, and I had hair, and I mean, me and my brother went and we took our school photos, and we had bushy afros when we took these photos. I think that was like 81 or so, 82. Oh man. But yeah, that's how we used to do it. But Rose was Iron Man during Secret War. Yes, he was. Yes, he was Geek Hero Bubba. He was. But I saw, like I said, during the Avengers did not know that he was an Iron Man. They thought it was Tony. So they would see Tony and they knew Tony. It was like Tony's a bad drunk. Tony's a horrible drunk. And I think they did something, and he was a little intoxicated, and he was in an Iron Man suit or something like that. And then Rose was like, "No, I can't. Iron Man's a hero, and he's got to swap out. And you got a drunk flying around in a multi-billion-dollar high-tech weapon suit, and he's drunk, but he's got repulsor rays and stuff like that. So they had to do this, and so." But the Demon in a Bottle storyline is still it's a classic storyline. But it's kind of absurd now because I'm sitting there going, I remember I picked up a couple of those issues and he was in the Avengers mansion and everybody else is just walking around and they're in regular clothes. And obviously Rhodey, he can't, they're in their costumes, but he can't take his helmet off like he normally would when he's, like Tony Stark, he comes in, lands in the Avengers mansion, and he takes the helmet off. That's, Iron Man, Spider-Man, you call him Shellhead all the time. He's like, because they used to have it where now when you watch the movies, Iron Man's suit is just it's like luggage or something. It just unpacks on him. It's like, because he's got all the nanites or whatever, But he used to have to actually take his helmet off, or he'd have to take his face. They used to do a couple different things with Iron Man. I used to see he would either go, and the mask would come off like that, and he would still have the rest of the thing around his head, kind of like a RoboCop type deal where he would take the faceplate off, or he would just take the helmet off. And now he hits a button and the whole thing just, and if he wants the mask to come off, he just does whatever, and then the mask just disappears and then it comes back on his face. But back in the day, he used to have to take the helmet off. And so Rhodey's walking around in the house and he still got the helmet on. And no one ever got suspicious. And then he would go, "All right, guys, I'll check you later. I've got some things to do." And he would just, because everybody forgets Tony Stark actually owned the Avengers mansion. It was his. He was kind of like Batman. He was Batman. He was funding everything. So he's like, "Well, this is my property. The Avengers property is mine, but I'm giving you guys, whatever. You guys will run it." The butler guy, that's his butler. He just put it, that's what Jarvis is, his butler. So let me see what you guys are saying. Yeah, he would have to take the helmet off like a Power Ranger. That's exactly what it was. But now he just goes and the mask disappears or whatever. Let's see. Poor Rhodey had to watch all the other adventures while he stands around. But I noticed that when I must have been like 7 or 8 when that storyline was running. And I noticed, I was like, okay, because they got, I was like, wait a minute, Iron Man's black? Because it was weird. I remember watching the Iron Man cartoon. They used to show the little reruns, they'd be like, "Tony Stark makes you feel he's the coolest man with a heart of steel." And you would watch that, and obviously he's Tony Stark, who is a white guy. But now he is a black man. So I hadn't picked up an Iron Man book in a little while. And when I picked it up, all of a sudden, James Rhodes, who I knew who James Rhodes was, but I was like, wait a minute, what's going on? And then you find out that Tony Stark's dealing with like alcoholism and all this kind of thing. So it was yeah, that was yeah. Well, yeah, that was the what was the other ones? When Captain America throws his mighty shield. I was like, I remember that one. And then what was the other one? They had let me see, Captain America. They had from the Golden Bridge of Asgard. They had that one, and they had one for the Avengers. And I used to watch all that stuff. And let me see here. Get here about Monica Rambeau was the Captain America during it, and that's what I'm saying. And she was Captain Marvel. That's why I'm saying she's had like 3 different niggas. They called her Photon and Prism. They can't figure out what the hell to name her now because she was. And I remember I was telling somebody, I was like, her name was Captain Marvel, and they didn't they hadn't really followed the character like I had, and they were like, no, Captain Marvel is Carol Danvers. I said, no, she was Miss Marvel. Captain Marvel was Monica Rambeau. They killed off. Well, he died. Captain Marvel died of he died of cancer, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. I love it on Hishi when they rip on Cap's shield song during the cafe scene. Well, there you go. I don't know what Hishi is. What is he? I'm missing something. I'm sure that's his. No, that's not. I don't know. You'll tell me. Tell me what it is. I don't know what it is. But her action figure is just named. Yes, again, that's due to brand confusion. They don't want the customers because now Monica Rambeau has been in the Captain Marvel movie. So although she's just a little girl, right? Because the woman, the black woman's her mother. I got through 20 minutes of Captain Marvel. I had to turn that shit off. I couldn't watch it. And I've watched all the Marvel movies. I'm gonna make myself watch Captain Marvel because I like to know that I've actually watched the entire thing. But I couldn't. It was so cringeworthy trying to watch Captain Marvel. It was so bad. It was so bad. And I'm telling you, I got through 20 minutes. I said, oh, this is some bullshit. And I had to get up out of here. So let's see here. Big Blue U. Now Miss Marvel is Kamala. Yeah, there you go. So, okay. So you had Miss Marvel, who was Carol Danvers, and I still have, what was it? Avengers Annual number 10. This is Avengers Annual number 10. It was written by Chris Claremont. It is illustrated by the brilliant Michael Golden. I still have this. It's in like decent condition. It's not near mint or anything like that, but it's, I have taken care of all my older comics. I don't, I try not to even handle my comics. Every now and again, I get a hankering to read an old story. And if it's that bad, I'll actually go on Amazon and I'll just buy a trade paperback because I don't like handling my books. Like I read them the first time and I put them back in bag and board and I don't like handling them after that. I don't want to get, thumbprints on them, all that kind of thing. So I try not to damage my books. I don't like, I'm real anal about that. It's like, I don't want all the little, the sweat and grease and anything that might happen while you read the book. So I prefer like trade paperbacks and stuff like that so that I can just do whatever the hell I want to them. Cause I'm like, oh, I'm not collecting this. No, I can just do whatever. But Avengers Annual number 10, Michael Gold is the artist. Chris Claremont, who was obviously on the X-Men as the writer, he wrote Avengers Annual number 10. They introduced the character of Rogue and what was it? I guess the new Brotherhood of Mutants or whatever, because it had Destiny, it had Mystique. I think the Pyro. I had to go back and look at that story. But Rogue was in there. This is Rogue's very first appearance, and they made her like uber powerful in the movie, in the annual because she kept touching. She touched everybody in the damn. So she ended up with everybody damn superpowers. She touched Captain America. She touched Thor. I didn't think they let her transfer Iron Man. So I had to go back and look at that because I thought that if I'm not, I might be wrong about that, but I could have swore she actually was able to grab Iron Man's ability from his suit or something like that, or tried to, or something like. Because I was like, Iron Man doesn't have any abilities. I know she can't transfer power from a machine, but the first person she touched was Carol Danvers. She touched Carol Danvers, and unlike the other people, she touched, you know, that was the thing about Rogue. If she touched you for a certain amount of time, the transfer would be permanent. So she touched Carol Danvers way longer than she was able to touch Thor and Captain America and stuff. So they obviously got their powers back. And her transfer of the powers from Carol Danvers became permanent. That's what. So she still has a lot of those abilities to this day. And then she got a lot of Carol Danvers memories. And, you know, that was because she would not only the powers, the memories and everything would transfer to her. So she got, and that was one of the things between her and it's because it's weird seeing them like when they're like trying to portray them as like friends now. Because I was like, that was always a stickler for me. Carol Danvers was always going to hate Rogue. She was always going to hate Rogue for what Rogue did for her. Even though she knows Rogue is a hero now, and Rogue has tried to redeem herself and tried to make amends for all the bad stuff she did when she was still a bad guy. Carol Danvers is like, this woman ruined my life. There is no forgiveness. And now they're like, oh, we're buddies. All women like each other. I was like, oh, we're friends now. Let's be on a super team together. I'm like, no. It has the way Chris Claremont had it. That was the way I loved it because I was like, you know, because I liked Rogue and Rogue had became when they. I remember when Rogue showed up. She had left Mystique. I had that issue, and of the X-Men. I think John Romita Jr. was the artist. And she showed up to the X Mansion. She was desperate. She was having all these flashbacks. She had sucked so many people's memories and stuff. She was having all these weird false memories. She couldn't keep her head. She was all disheveled and confused. She couldn't really remember anything. And she's begging Charles Xavier and the X-Men to help her. And Carol Danvers had showed up at the X Mansion and she had gotten a new power set. They called her, what was her name? Binary. She had these like cyborg superpowers or whatever. And she punched Rogue into orbit or some shit. She punched her and flew her into outer space or some shit. It was crazy. She was like, and I was like, whoa, she just knocked this chick into orbit. She punched Rogue so hard. And some people were like, yeah, she's getting her revenge because they had read Avengers Annual number 10 and they know that Rogue had that coming. But at the same point, we're like, oh no, wait a minute. I'm like, she's a good guy. Why would she do this? This chick is like showing up and begging for mercy and needing help. And she just got blasted in outer space. And then obviously they went up there and they saved her and brought her back down. And then they were like, well, I forgive you. Hey, I forgive you. That whole thing. So hold up. Y'all putting some good information in the chat. Let me go back and let's see. Let's see how it should have ended. How it should have ended on YouTube. Got to run. Oh, you leave it. Let me see. Corylegend. Boom. It's very frustrating that modern comics do not understand flaws to find and create superheroes. Yes, I agree with that. Let's see here. She is older now after Endgame. Yeah, that don't get me started on Endgame because once you do the 5-year time jump, that whole thing pissed me off, and it's just. But I mean, yeah, I guess that makes sense though. She was a little girl in Captain Marvel, and then 5 years jumped ahead. So, yeah, I guess but how old would she be? What, 13, 14? Because she looked like she was about 8, 7, 8? I don't know. Someone let me know. But I mean, like I said, it only went 5 years. I guess you could make her like a teen or something. Cute nerd. I wish I had thought ahead like you. All my comics are used and they look like it. Yeah, I used to go to Collector's World, and they would, you had to pay extra for the bags and board, but I would go ahead and pay that. You know, it was like an extra 15 cents, like 5 cents for the board and 10 cents for the bag or something like that. And so they would just charge you an extra 15 cents, or you could just buy them straight up. And I was like, no, I would bag and board all my shit and then go up to the cash register and pay for it. I would go through all the comics. I would make sure I would go, especially I know when the comics would show up. And I would call them. They knew my voice. And I was like, it was weird. I was like 13, 14 years old calling. They're like, hey, guys, it's Antonio. Have all the new comics came in yet? Yeah, Antonio, they're here. On my way. And I'd get my mom, and we'd go down there. And she would drive me every week. I knew I got on her nerves, but she'd make me buy her. I would have, different money from jobs and stuff that I was doing. And so she would make me buy her like a soda or something. You know, that would be my the price I would have to pay for her having to drive me to the damn comic book store or whatever, all the little money I would make from my little chores and doing little things for people, I might have $20, $25. I go in there and spend about $15 on comics, and then we'd go and get like a chili dog at Dairy Queen or something like that and get her a drink. So that's what it is. The True Believers $1 facsimile comics have been. Yeah. Matter of fact, I remember Zach. What was it last year? He actually had a True Believers edition of Avengers Annual number 10, and it looked like it was a really good print. They clean it up and reprint it. I thought, I actually might look on. I think that I saw it on Amazon. I might have to get one, but I think that's been collected in I might just get it in a trade paperback. And like I said, I like reading them old stories. Let me see. Corylegend, what they did to Monica and her isn't she lesbian mother? Yeah, that whole thing. That's what I'm saying. And just because you have an issue with that doesn't make you a bigot. They're doing that stuff, and I have no problem with inclusion. I mean, I'm a black man. I want to see other people when I'm reading the material, but it's just like the way they create black characters, and it's, again, I go back to my Steve Englehart interview where he goes, a lot of the reasons that you have issues with some of these things and things that happen was because in those rooms, in those meeting rooms and stuff, there weren't any black faces. So the people that were the editors, the people that were the writers and artists, they were like, oh, we need black characters, but they didn't hire any black people to tell them. So, I had that conversation with Steve Englehart about the issue of Lois Lane, Superman's girlfriend, Lois Lane. I can't remember the issue, but she went into the Fortress of Solitude in this machine and turned herself into a black woman and went to Harlem. And I said, what is this bullshit? And that, I might need to buy that issue. I still see it popping up on eBay and stuff where Lois Lane is in blackface. I'm like, come on, man. You got Lois Lane in blackface. She turned herself into and she was a black woman with like big hoop earrings and an afro. This is real. This is for real. Anybody that was following these stories knows I'm telling the truth. So she actually turned herself in. I think he's like, it's a Negro ray. It'll turn you into a Negro for 24 hours or something. And she was like, okay, I'm black now. And then she runs into Superman. I was like, this stuff, I couldn't believe it, man. It was just, and because I asked him about that, and then I asked him about that story it was Green Lantern, Green Arrow. And the Green Lantern had done something, and this old black man, he decides to talk to Hal and get on to him. You did everything for the green man and the blue man and the yellow man. When you gonna do something for the brown man? I was like, oh God. And you read some of those old comics and they're cringeworthy. And he's like, well, Denny meant well. And that's Denny O'Neil, who is still with us. God bless him. I'm a big fan of his. Created Ra's al Ghul and a bunch of other characters. A big fan of Denny O'Neil. But again, this is the well-meaning white writer that wants to teach other white people about racism and being compassionate towards minorities and all this kind of stuff. And the best thing you could do is hire competent black people. Competent, not just hiring them because they're black, because if they can't write worth a damn, it ain't gonna do no good. I want you to hire competent black people that can write these stories and handle these characters, because then some of those cringy moments, because like when I mentioned the Lois Lane turned herself into a black woman to Steve Englehart, he was like, okay, I'm not going to defend that one, because he knew that was cringy he's like, that was cringy as fuck. He knew, but he loves Denny O'Neil, and so he didn't want to, you don't want to throw your friend under the bus, someone that's giving you work and took care of you and all this. And I'm not, and again, big fan of Denny O'Neil's. His heart is definitely in the right place on that. However, the execution was poor. And so characters become a joke. Let me see here. seeing her as the Thing was cool in X-Men versus Fantastic Four. Oh, is she the Thing now? Oh, that's not good. Okay. Let's see. Rogue from the cartoon is my yeah, and I loved what man when that 90s X-Men cartoon was on, that shit was on and popping, brother. I loved that. That was my cartoon. That was my shit. Let me see here. Hold on. Is this the issue? Is it number 106? Is number 106? Is that when she turns herself? Is that when she hits herself with a Negrodometer? She turns herself into a black woman. Oh God, that story would never get by now because someone will be like, "Hey, that's kind of insensitive." Like I said, she put an afro on there. She had an afro. They turned her, like she had the hoop earrings. I was like, "Is that how they see us? Really?" All right. Was a cute nerd. I want interesting characters, not tokens. They just stand there so you can say I'm not racist. Yeah, definitely that. Let's see. Yeah, Lois Lane, black and white, still cute. Okay, hold on. I must say something. I be saying, I just say stuff. I don't censor myself. I just say whatever. Let's see, but okay. So let me. What do you guys think I'm making this stuff up? I mean, that's the thing about Google. You can check this stuff out. These stories really have. That's why a lot of those old. That's one of the things. That's one of the reasons why when I started interviewing comic book pros, I was very happy that the first one I got to interview was Steve Englehart. The second one was Ann Neseni. But Steve Englehart, I wanted him to be the first because his work inspired me so much. And I he mentioned 2 times that when he was working with characters that were, black, that the editors were like, all right, you can get rid of that guy now. He was working on, they brought him on to Captain America and the Falcon. In the actual story, Captain America wasn't selling very well then. They were like, and the Falcon had a comic book and they were like, okay. Captain America had went to it wasn't even being put out every month at that time. It was being put out every other month because the book was selling so bad. And they canceled Falcon's book. So they was like, all right, let's just put Captain America and Falcon in the book together. And it was called Captain America and the Falcon. And they brought Steve Englehart had written, writing, what was it? Astonishing Tales, Amazing Tales. It was, that's actually where the Beast went from being the gray fur beast to being the blue beast. Because they turned him blue the issue before Steve Englehart took over. And he actually wrote some really cool stories in that in amazing stuff. I had to look that up. But yeah, it's like he was writing that stuff, and then they were like, hey, Captain America was dying at that time. They were about to cancel it. Like I said, it was on Lifeline. They were like, hey, Steve, do you think you might want to write Captain America and the Falcon? He goes, sure. They put him on Captain America. And at that time, like I said, it's flatlining. So when the story, it's the same kind of lightning in a bottle situation that happens when they put Frank Miller on Daredevil. At that time, I think at one point they had Daredevil coming out quarterly. It was selling so poorly. They done some dumb shit with Daredevil where they had Daredevil. Daredevil's not even in Hell's Kitchen anymore. And I can't remember. I was talking to another creator a couple months ago, and I was having this conversation. They had forgotten all this. Daredevil was so bad. They took Daredevil. They said, okay, let's give Daredevil. Daredevil is a New Yorker. He's the face of Hell's Kitchen. They go, okay, let's move Daredevil to San Francisco. So Matt Murdock moves his ass from New York and goes to San Francisco. And Black Widow happens to show up. And they start dating each other. And they move in together, but they can't have them sleeping in the same bedroom together. So they have separate bedrooms, but they're a couple. It was weird. These stories happen. All this stuff is, you can look it up. It really happened. And so Frank Miller had gotten a fill-in issue, which I actually have, of Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man. I think it's like 84, 80 something. But he got to do a fill-in issue of Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man. And Daredevil happened to be the guest superhero in that issue. This is the very first time that Frank Miller will ever draw Daredevil. So I have this issue, and so it's very cherished in my collection because it's the very first time that Frank Miller who is the greatest Daredevil creator of this generation that I know of, and I'm saying beyond like Stan Lee, obviously, yeah, created and all this. He took Daredevil and actually made him more than like also. I mean, Daredevil became legitimate. The stuff that anybody that knows about Frank Miller and read his Daredevil run, it's seminal. It's defining what he did. He took the Kingpin, and Kingpin was a joke B Spider-Man villain with a cane that actually shot laser beams out of it. This really is the truth. The Kingpin had a laser cane that shot beams. And his, big thing, other than that, he's about the same. He's a crime boss. He's fat, but he's not really, it's not fat, it's muscle. So, but he's fat and got muscle. I mean, Kingpin was fighting Spider-Man blow for blow at one point. Then obviously Spider-Man wins. Spider-Man's like, oh my God, this guy can actually fight. He's picking Spider-Man up and throwing him and doing it. And Spider-Man's like, oh my God, I can't believe this guy's whooping me. And then he obviously beats him. But the Kingpin had a laser cane. And so, I mean, that's what it was. And Frank Miller, because Daredevil wasn't selling, they just let him do whatever he wanted. And all of a sudden he crafted all, Elektra and took Bullseye, who he didn't create Bullseye, but he took Bullseye and made him more than just a joke character. Bullseye became cool. And I was like, man, all of it, put the hand in there and stick and all of the stuff that still defines Daredevil. Anybody that takes over Daredevil now, if they haven't read Frank Miller's work, they shouldn't write Daredevil. That's just a fact. I mean, it's like you can't, talk about the stick and, talk about stick and the hand and Elektra and all that stuff, and Bullseye and killing Elektra and doing all that. If you don't know that history, if you don't know the Fall from Grace storyline and all the, all the stuff that Frank Miller did when he was on that run, you should not handle that character. It's, that's just important information to know. Okay, Chris, but yeah, I remember seeing the Lord Lane story. Yeah, like I said, the Negrodometer or whatever. Let me see, Drizzle the Nerd. I picked up that issue yesterday, and I'm excited. Which issue, Dibizzle? Which not the horrible Lois Lane issue? I hope. So let me see. So let's see, Corylegend. So Vita is incompetent. I'm going to say I'm trying to be fair here because the only things I've seen of the work are the little previews and stuff that I've read and that horrible New Warriors presentation. And, obviously Marvel thought enough of the New Warriors stuff with the Snowflake and Safe Space and stuff that they want to publish that. They haven't published anything I've done. And I would have loved to, back in the day, that was a dream to work for Marvel Comics. They haven't wanted to publish anything I've done, so they haven't contacted me. It's like, Antonio, we would love to talk to you about coming and working on Black Panther with us or something. They haven't come to me, but they see that Safe Space and Snowflake shit, and they were like, yeah, let's do more of that. I'm like, the art is competent. It's not great. I think the virtue signaling is very strong in that. And so, yeah, so I mean, obviously the artist is good enough to get work, but it's just, yeah, so that's, so yeah. I'm sorry, that's not a fair question. She's barely a fuck. Again, like I said, I'm basing on everything I've seen, the art and all that, and the story ideas and stuff. That's just, I gotta be honest, that's someone that, it's like Somna Grace and some of these people, they're brought in to do a job, and I know, well, not Somna, Cena Grace that was doing the Iceman, and now he like, oh, Marvel threw me under the bus and they didn't support me. We had this great idea for making Bobby Drake gay, and then it didn't work, and then yeah, it just didn't work. So they turned on me. So that whole thing was just bad. Let me see. trying to hold on. The little control panel. Okay. So let's see. You hear about no, Rogue touched the thing during the fight with the X-Men. It was all okay. So yeah, she absorbed the thing's power. Because that's the thing. You didn't have to be a mutant for Rogue. If you had any type, matter of fact, you could just be a human. If Rogue touched you, she would absorb your memories. She would know, like, because they've used Rogue like someone's like I'll never tell you the password or whatever, and Rogue can touch them and okay, I know the password now. She'll be able to absorb your memories and all that kind of stuff. So, they've done those kind of storylines before. Let's see, Corylegend. I always wanted Bishop's sister Shard to get a real run. I loved her. I've seen Shard. It'd be all right. But I mean, I'll give anybody a fair chance. I'm not just going to dismiss. But like I said, I'm Rocket Girl and some of these other characters I'm not really into. So let me see here. Yeah, Superman's girlfriend Lois Lane. Yeah, okay. So Superman girlfriend Lois Lane, issue 106. She gets the Negro Ray and turns herself into a black woman. Yeah, that's a real story. So, all right. Yo, Carter, did you see Sean Gordon Murphy getting crap for not saying Black Lives Matter? Oh my God. Okay. Let me take this because I'm gonna be controversial here for a moment. But anybody else that's not white, you can listen to me right now. And hold on, let me boom. All right. Hello.
Hi everyone, it's your boy Zach. Hi everyone, it's your boy Zach, and for all you techies out there, I haven't worked in tech in like 2 years.
Cecil,
they were hit, and they wrote a statement. I have never been to Golden Apple Comics.
Is this Cecil?
Packers Comics Chicago Loop.
This is okay.
Yeah, I know I could have checked beforehand, but I didn't. You buy that metal kidney or whatever you call it.
Okay, you gotta give me something. Like, who is this? I'm like, because this obviously not Zach.
So these are kind of like normal. So if you go to the trade paperbacks.
Cecil, is this you?
Hi everyone, it's your boy Zach.
Oh my God. Okay. Let me see. You gotta tell me who it is. I don't know who it is, but if this is my friend Cecil,
boy Zach,
who I love, please say something. If it's not Cecil, then I am going to remove the troll because Cecil is always welcome here. I love Cecil.
Hi everyone, it's your boy Zach.
Okay, so is there? Okay, well, we love you, Zach. See you later. All right. And so let me see. Okay, so yeah, I like I said, I had dropped the room, so I'm assuming it was we have some trolls, and I did that. But hi everyone, it's your boy Zach. But your boy Zach has actually been here a few times, which is awesome. I love talking to him. Let me go back to the point. Okay. So let me talk to all my white friends out there, people that watch this and people that will watch this in the future. I am black. It's like when they were doing the Blackout Tuesday. I'm black every day. I'm not just black on Tuesday. I'm black Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You know what I'm saying? 7 days a week, 365 days a year, I'm black. What I don't want and what I've been seeing on social media, putting the blackout and all this bullshit and doing different things. I don't want to just be a hashtag. I don't want you to be doing Black Lives Matter because if you put up hashtag Black Lives Matter because, well, all the other professionals put up Black Lives Matter. So if I don't put up Black Lives Matter, it's going to look like I'm a racist. If you don't feel that shit, don't put it up there, man. That's what I've noticed. And one problem, and I'm a big fan of Sean Gordon Murphy's, but it looks like he tries to just appeal to everybody, man. And it's why sometimes I can't take him seriously when he says stuff, and I just stop. You don't have to, you know, we know George, you know, salute to George Floyd and his family. And, you know, I mourn their loss and all that. And trust me, I am extremely compassionate, and I've had issues with police officers and different things. And I'm more than a hashtag. You know, and we go do Blackout Tuesday and then just go back to the way things were for the other 364 days. Because if it's not going to be real, then don't do it. Putting a black icon on your Instagram or your Twitter don't mean shit to me. It really don't. It doesn't mean anything. I want real change. If you're not going to actually do something besides going, hey, all you racist white people are the problem, bro, that don't mean shit. It don't mean shit. Because what are you doing the other days of the year? I mean, real talk. So treat everybody with respect. Treat every black person with respect, every white person with respect, Asian, you know, Hispanic, whatever. Treat everybody with respect and kindness. Stop looking at skin color and all this weird shit and breaking everything down to a hashtag. They got people. This is some shit that I started seeing on social media yesterday. There was a young lady, and she had like her workout garb or some shit. She had like a leotard, like she just come from the gym working out. And she wanted to play like she had been out here in Los Angeles at the riots. She went, there was a store that had its windows smashed in, and she told her boyfriend, she said, hey, take a picture of me in front of this store or whatever. She goes and, oh, you know, so she can post up on social media, oh my God, this is in the road. And she wasn't anywhere near that place. She just wanted her boyfriend to take so she could put it out on Twitter or Instagram. And I'm like, when you're doing shit like that, you don't give a damn about any of the things that spark this stuff. You can talk about the rioting and the looting and all that stuff, but that shit don't mean nothing if you're not going to actually do something to correct and change the problem. You know, I don't want all this hashtag shit. I don't give a damn if McDonald's puts out a statement like McDonald's stands by the African American. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. It doesn't mean anything. Popeyes was they were so crass. Popeyes sent out a tweet that they got embarrassed. They knew they had messed up and they embarrassed themselves. They tweeted out, oh, Popeyes wouldn't be nothing without Black lives. And people started giving them shit for it. And I've got the tweet though. I wish I got it on my phone. I need it because you know people screenshotted it and stuff. It was so cringe. Yes, you care about the black people that spend hundreds of millions of dollars on your shit every year. Don't do that if you don't actually mean something. Because I'm talking about, okay, we get past this shit. The reality was we never solved the COVID thing. The COVID thing's still going on, right? So the COVID thing is still going on. So when all the, you know, the National Guard moves in, the police, and they move in and they got the riot gear on and they shut all these protests down and life goes back to normal, we're still dealing with this COVID shit. And so I don't want to just be a headline for the day. That's why I'm saying I'm black 365 days a year. This shit I'm seeing people do weird virtue signaling and all that shit. And I was like, man, that shit is cringy as fuck, man. That stuff don't mean nothing to me because it doesn't produce change. And it makes white people that might listen resent you. They're like, oh, wow, okay. You know, I'm saying like all the wrestling, the WWE putting out a statement. I was like, oh God, I could go on about that shit all day. It's stupid. So okay, here we go. Let's see, I need to see the interview with it's on my creators playlist. My Anna City interview is up. Maybe I'll make that the other one. Christopher Priest had a good interview about writing characters of different color. And let's see. I had and still have those issues. Oh wow, cringy. Reading Frank Miller's run right now. Never got around to it before now. So wow. that's strange. Make sure you throw in his book with John Romita Jr., the limited Daredevil Man Without Fear miniseries. That is exceptional. I think it's a great it's 4 issues. It's fantastic. But yeah, I've got that, and Man Without Fear, Frank Miller and John Romita Jr. John Romita Jr.'s run with Ann Nocenti on Daredevil was great too, and I know that was one of the reasons I was very happy to talk to her. Let's see, Kelsey. Oh, there's Kelsey Shannon. Kelsey, you can get your ass in here and stream with me. That link's in the room. Didn't you hear the left is giving black people a pass, Antonio? Give me an HDTV while you're out here. I'll post how much I respect what you're doing on Twitter. Oh, shit. Well, stealing is stealing. But sharing is caring. That's how sharing works. Let me see. Oh, the comment. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. That's bullshit. They don't mean riot selfies. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I'm like, if you're doing shit like that, that tells me right there you don't give a damn about what happened. You're like, oh, this will give me some views and likes. You don't mean shit. Let's see. The liberal entertainment industry created the negative stereotypes for black people and made them worldwide. Hollywood does not care about black lives at all. Well, one thing I saw, let's talk about that and talk about the music industry. I saw there's a rapper named Russ who is not black. He looks like he's Italian or something. He's not a black guy, but he said he sent out a tweet and posted on Instagram. He said, "Hey, all you music companies have made tens of billions of dollars off black people. Y'all need to be donating to some of these causes." And so far, they've all been silent. I am waiting to see, because he was like, there was like Sony and Universal, all these big companies that were, getting mentioned in this thing. And so far, I have not seen anybody say, hey, we're going to donate to like a black charity or something like that and try to do the thing. Yeah, so you saw because that's the thing. The thing about social media now, when you tweet that shit, even if you delete it, it's still there. So Popeyes was like, oh shit, we probably should have sent that out. And then they deleted it and tried to clean it up. And it was crazy. So that's what it is. That was fast as fuck delete. It was. And that's what I'm saying. Let's see. Hey, I like fried chicken. I'm not villain. I'm not here to demonize fried chicken. And that Popeyes chicken sandwich is scrumptious. I love it. But that tweet from Popeyes was bullshit. Popeyes, we love who love chicken. These is yeah. All right. I love the chat, man. Oh, Kelsey Shannon, yes, I'm racist. Well, Kelsey, I'm sorry to hear that you're racist. I've always respected you, and Electro Assassin. Yes, please read Electro Assassin. What's that? Bill Sienkiewicz, because it's like whatever his name is. I can never pronounce his last name. I love this New Mutant stuff with Chris Claremont, though. Bill Sienkiewicz and Frank Miller on Electro Assassins. Fantastic. Let's see. Wim. I'm hearing a lot of things I'm loving, and I hear from the wife. So my internet is slowing down. I have to go and reboot things later. Oh yeah. Well, okay. Well, thank you for being here. That is awesome. We appreciate you stopping by. Let's see. I need to know what. Yeah. Hold up. Y'all having a conversation. Okay. Let me see. Mike Jenkins is gonna be a long foot. That is true. I think that is true. Everything that's going on is weird. So at that point, let's see, the music industry was horrible for black people, especially with the start of gangster rap. Yes, they were. And so let me see here. Let's see. Kelsey Shannon, I live in the hood and no one is rioting or doing shit. They're just living. Now down at the college, however, down on the corner, out in the street. Let's see. Rakita went off on this issue last night. He was pretty livid. I asked Nick Rakita to come on my channel. I've been wanting to talk to him, and I got to go on his show about a year and a half ago. That was after the Brett Booth bullshit when Brett Booth said that I was like glorifying harming women or something with the dark Santana. I was like, that whole thing was weird, and I was just like, I still like Brett Booth, but yeah, I would talk to Brett Booth if he would talk to me. I don't think he would talk to me, but I would talk to Brett Booth, even though he got a bunch of weirdos to pile up on me, even though I don't think that was his original intention. But obviously, you know, at that time I had like 1,200 followers, and he's got like 20-some thousand followers, and he tweeting talking about I'm glorifying the harming of women and all this nonsense. It caused all kind of shit, but he sold me like $4,000 or $5,000 worth of books. So thank you, Brett Booth. So yeah, that was people definitely bought copies of Brand to support. Let's see, Geek Hero Bubble. We should post pics of Blackface Punisher. Oh god, that would be horrible. Yeah. Let me see here. Who? Yes, Kelsey. The chicken sandwich is not cheap. I will say that the chicken sandwich from Popeyes is not cheap, but I've bought several of them. Unfortunately, I'm starting to think they have sprinkled just a little bit of crack in there. Just a little bit of crack. It's the secret sauce. Let's see, Destiny 2. I heard a lot of this chicken sandwich. I want to try it, but there is no Popeyes in Poland. Oh, wow. I'm surprised to hear that. I'm sure you have McDonald's. I've had buddies of mine that's like been over in Iraq and it was like, they had a KFC over here. I was in Kuwait and they have a KFC. And I was like, what? Really? Really? Okay. Let me see. Opinion on Jackson Riker getting clapped by everyone for his pro-Trump message. Okay, I sent that out. I sent the article out on that. Before I begin on that, let me just say, because we're doing the Wrestling Council on my channel at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It'll be myself, Comic Book Bob, Yule Carter, who is obviously in the chat right now, and Boogie. Let's see, hold up. Me, Comic Book Bob, Yule Carter, Boogie Bentley from the S&B Network. We will be doing it at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Might touch on that there, but let me, since I have your attention for the moment, let me at least say this. I think that's bullshit. I think as a country, whoever the politician is, whoever the president is, be they a Democrat or Republican, independent, whatever, I feel like we need to at least fall behind the president on things. It's not that you can't disagree, but I don't think someone tweeting out their support for the president is automatic cancel time. I don't think that's that's kind of what happened to Mitch Breitweiser after Trump got elected. You know, he tweeted out that I remember he sent out a tweet. It was like Captain America he had drawn or something like that, and he was saying that he hopes the president like leads us, God or whatever. I had to, they did some articles on it or whatever, and everybody dogpiled on him. Just wishing the incoming president well was enough for him to, people like, oh, he's supporting this Nazi, it's this kind of thing. So it's like, I was like, wow, the way people, and it's very similar to hearing some of the stories that Ethan has had about how people try to cancel him. It's like, he's talked about Gail Simone being there for him, like when him and his first wife split up, and he's talking about being on the phone with her and her husband for hours and them listening to him and them just trying to help him and stuff. And it sounded like they were really friends. And then she turned on him. And when that turn came, well, that was a hell of a turn. She's sicking like 100,000 people on him for sending out some tweets she didn't like about a president she doesn't like. So it's funny when they turn on you. That's it, you'd be like, man, I thought we were friends. Okay, like it's that I always found that stuff interesting. So like I said, when I've heard Mitch talk about that as well, and that's what. Let's see. Rakita keeps mentioning about you guys doing a dual cooking food stream. Man, I still, like I said, I'm waiting on Nick to answer my DM back, but I'm a big fan of Nick. I like him. He's cool people. So if he want to get these cooking hands and these pots and pans, we'll throw it in there. We'll make something happen, bro. I'll make it happen. Let me see here. The mainstream is horrible. They are pure absolutely. Let's see. Well, that's just Kelsey laughing, and I like Kelsey laughing. I had a chicken sandwich from Popeyes, pretty good. Love that chicken from Popeye. Now there was one commercial. Now, I've been talking to the guy, Dame Drops. He's got a YouTube channel, DAYM Drops. He's got like he's what's the chick, the morning show chick, Rachel Ray. He's her food critic or whatever on her channel. He comes in and every few weeks and does little segments with her and stuff. But he's actually gonna make a little cameo in Way of the Gun because I didn't know he was a comic book head and got to talking. He started following me on Instagram and I was following him and he started following me back. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, dang. I was like I said, he has over 1 million followers on YouTube. And me and him have talked some, and I was talking to him about a lot of this stuff, man. It's just he did a Popeyes commercial. They actually flew him out to Los Angeles, and he did a Popeyes commercial. I actually thought they just took a clip from one of his YouTube review videos. And he was like, no, he said the footage that they used was actually their footage. And he said they flew me out. The car wasn't my car. He said I was, they put me in this little car that they rented. And then I had to recreate a Popeye's chicken review video. And then they just clipped like 10 seconds of it. And that commercial ran nationally. So Dame Drops got a national Popeye's chicken commercial. But he, like I said, check out Dame Drops on YouTube. His channel's huge. And boom. So let's see. Craig Speckenbach. They are out there supporting Antifa as rioters and looters. Have put at least 3 comic shops. There's, like I said, I understand the anger, but the thing about when you get angry and you smash shit, when you're not mad anymore, somebody got to pick up a broom and clean that shit up. Lots of it. And you're talking hundreds of millions of dollars worth of damage. And, people, there are police getting shot. There are citizens getting shot. I saw there was a young lady who got shot. I guess the police dispersed a tear gas grenade into the crowd and it hit her in the eye. And her eye looked like she had went like 2 rounds with Muhammad Ali. Her shit was towed back. Her eye looked like her face was normal, but that one part of her eye just came off her face like that. And I'm like, and they're not sure what damage has been done to her eye yet. They have to let the swelling go down before they can tell her how much loss of vision she might have and any of that kind of. So they don't know. And I'm like, man, she got hit because I've seen them when they shoot those guns. And she took one a direct shot to the eye of tear gas. So I wish I could remember that sister's name. I can't remember, but I'm sorry that happened to her. But man, I wish all this stuff would stop. This is crazy. Let me see. We have KFC, McDonald's, Subway, and other fast food, but no Popeye. I didn't see one in Germany either. I was almost born in Germany. I've told the story a few times. My mom was pregnant with me, and she was only a few months pregnant. But my dad was over in Germany, and my mom didn't want to move over there. She had my little brother and my sister, and my dad was going to be over there. He was going to be stationed over there for like a year and a half, 2 years or whatever. And so what she did, she was like, okay, baby, I'm going to come see you. And she was going to go over there and stay for like a month and a half, 2 months. She wasn't just going to go over there for a week or two. She was going to go over there and stay for like a month or something, actually have some good husband-wife together time while she's pregnant, right? She went to the doctor and she was so far along, and based on the amount of time that she was going to be over there in Germany at the base, the doctor told her that she could go, but it was going to be a one-way trip. He would not recommend her flying back because she would be so much further along with me at that time. So my mom thought about it because she would have had to take all of us. She would have had to move the whole family to Germany. And then because the doctor told her, yeah, you can go. It's safe for you to fly, but for the amount of time that you're talking about staying over there, you'll have to stay over there and have the baby in Germany. So I was almost born in Germany, but then my mom decided to stay in Alabama with her sisters. So that's why I was not born in Germany. And then my dad did not get to see me until I was 8 months old. My dad, when I was 8 months old, my dad flew back to the States from Germany, and he saw me for the first time when I was 8 months old. So that's been told to me a few times by my mom and my aunts and stuff. So let's see. He said pro-Trump, is YouTube canceled? Either way. I don't know. I done been called. That's the thing. I've been canceled by so many people all the time. They was like, because I'm black and conservative. Oh, you can't do this, blah, 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 blah. All this kind of thing. Whew. Bitches laughing all the way to the nuts. Oh, wow. You might want to delete that one. I don't know about that one, brother. That's not good. Okay, let's see. They are commies. They don't support people having different viewpoints, but they can share their views all they want. Yeah, well, there you go. Let's see, Craig speaking about somewhere along the lines, most people forgot that we live in America. We are allowed to have opinions and still make a living, even if other people just. These are facts. Let's see, Geek Hero Bubble. Where the gun looks awesome. Well, I just got the next 10 pages laid out for me, and they look fantastic. Me and Kanan, I had a great conversation with him yesterday morning. I talked to him for about 2.5 hours, going over the layouts, going over the direction of the story that we want to. We're on time, we're on schedule. I'm keeping the fingers crossed because the whole thing. I told Kanan, I was like, look, we had some delays last time. I want to ship on time. It's like I want to ship on time with Way of the Gun. So if we keep steady production right now, we can make it. So yeah, that's y'all. Okay, so you know about Dame Drops. Okay, Dame and Badlands Chugs. That's another channel. Badlands Chugs is real tight with Dame's. I follow him too. Badlands Chugs. That dude, he takes these big like gallon or 2-gallon cups. He'll take like, hey, I'm going to drink a whole 2 liter of Mountain Dew or whatever. He'll pour that shit in one of these big tall cups, and he sits there in one sip. He'll turn this big. He has these 2 custom-made boot glass things, and he'll take them. I remember he took some like Monster energy drinks, and he filled up the whole boot glass thing with, and like I said, I know the thing holds at least a gallon or so of liquid. And he took this big glass boot drink cup. He turned that bad boy up. I was like, and then he did the same thing. He was like, I remember there was a brand new, there's a lot of these food YouTubers, what they do is the food companies will contact with Dame kind of broke some of that down to me, where he'd be like, okay, so like KFC will be like, hey, will you come to our restaurant? And we're debuting a new sandwich. We want you to come and do a video on it, and we'll pay you a little something. And so that's how, because when you got an audience of, because I know Badlands Chugs has over 1 million too. So like Dame's got like 1.5 million or so. He's got a big audience. So he did a video a couple months ago. They had him come to Red Lobster corporate headquarters, and they served him like 10 plates of different food. He said, we're going over the entire brand new rollout menu from Red Lobster. And they were bringing him all this steak and lobster crab cake and all this. He's sitting there this 10, taking little bites of this and cheese biscuits and boo. And, like I said, they paid him. I talked to him about that. He said, yeah. He said, I didn't pay for none of that. He said, they took care of me, took care of my my hotel accommodations for the night, rental car, plane ticket, all that. They took care of me. And then, I came in and the guy cooked all these food and prepared them for me and brought them to me. And, I tried, all I had to do was supply my camera and edit the video. So that's how that worked out. So, and that video got a lot of views. So I respect that. When I get to the part where Kane is supposed to draw him into the book, I can't wait, because he said he might he might showcase it on his channel and show a little brand Way to Gun, which will be dope. So I hope we can. It's gonna be a little surprise. He wants to have a part in brand. So I'm looking forward to seeing his little cameo in there. So that'll But yeah, but salute to Dane Drops and salute to Badlands Chunks. Let me see. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Michael Strahan was born in Germany. Excuse me, the great Michael Strahan. Well, I know Michael Strahan's a Hall of Famer, but I was never a big fan. He was a great player. I was never blown away by. He's not Lawrence Taylor. I mean, got a Super Bowl ring, got to respect it. And like I said, anybody that's in the Hall of Fame, got to respect it. But he was always one of those guys, like they put him in when it should have been T.O. It was that kind of thing. Like they kept what they make T.O. wait like 2 or 3 times. Anybody that watched football knows Terrell Owens is a first ballot Hall of Famer. No questions. He was like top 5, top 10 in all the major stats for wide receivers. Like top 5. I mean, it's like him, Randy Moss, Jerry Rice. I mean, you were seeing his name alongside these guys all up down these lists, the stats. And they go, oh, well, he was a bad teammate, so we can't make. That dude was a first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't care if it took him 2 or 3. They know. The writers were admitting, oh, we thought he was a jerk, so we didn't vote him in. So you voted against what your eyes and the stats told you because you had a personal issue with the player. And that's not what you're supposed to do when you evaluate people for the Hall of Fame. So that's what that is. Anybody with eyes knows that Terrell Owens was a first ballot Hall of Famer. Another Alabama boy, by the way. I think he's born in Selma, Alabama. He went to the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. But Terrell Owens is another Alabama boy like myself. So, boom. All right, let's see. We're already headed for a recession. The looting is only going to make it harder for communities to come back. And that's the thing. I'm seeing they're like, should we send out another stimulus check? And while if they send another stimulus check, I'm going to take the money, but I'm concerned because I don't think stimulus is going to fix the problems. People need to be able to get back to work and not get sick from COVID. The businesses, there's so many businesses that got shut down because of the COVID that they've lost their businesses, and those people that they were employing are unemployed. So so once they quiet these riots down, we still got the COVID to deal with. The COVID never went anywhere. It's still out there. It's like the X-Files. They're out there. So there it is. Craig reading. Come on, Craig. Craig facts. All right, let's see. Love it. Boom. Let me see here. Yes, you and Kanan. Well, I love Kanan. Kanan get on my nerves, but I love him. That's my dude. I love Kanan though, but Kanan, I know you watch. Kanan be sneaking and watching the channel while you be trying to draw and shit. Kanan, you get on my nerves. I love you, but you get on my nerves. Thank you. All right. Let's see. T.O. was awesome. I agree with that as well. But maybe someone should make a superhero that is based on Terrell Owens and see how it, I wonder what his powers are like. Let's see. Craig Speckenbach. I'm a little too young to have seen LT. Unfortunately, Strahan and Tiki were my guys growing up. And there's nothing wrong. I like Tiki Barber. I'm sorry, Tiki. It's a shame. Tiki retires and they win the Super Bowl. And then he tried to come back. And it was over. Because he had been out the game for over a year. And so I'm glad Tiki's brother Rondé has a Super Bowl ring, but yeah, Tiki Barber, if he had just hung on one more year, he might have a ring on his finger. But you never, I say that, but you never know what'll happen. What if Tiki Barber had stayed in that year? They still go to the Super Bowl and they lost because I thought I got to be honest. I picked the Patriots to win that game. My buddy Kirby, he bet on the Giants. And obviously the Giants won. I thought, but the Patriots were winning. And it was so bad. Me and him were texting, talking shit to each other the whole game. And then the Giants won, and I had to go over there and give him like $40. And it pissed me off. He was like, he said, it's just $40. But spending your $40 is like the best feeling on the planet because it's your money. I'm not spending my money. I'm spending your $40. And I know it burns your ass that I'm spending your $40. So but then I beat him. and then he had to pay me my money, and I had to flip it on his ass. I mean, we bet it was a Bears game, and he picked. I can't remember who I picked, but I picked the right team, and he had to pay me my $40 back. And I said, he said, well, he said, I just gave you the $40 that you lost to me back. So we just kept passing the same $40 back and forth with each other. So there you go. Let's see. I know I'll take some Giant fan heat for still liking Tiki. As a player, I don't see anything wrong with Tiki. The thing is, what happens with these athletes is their personal life is all in the media, and the personal decisions that they make people judge them differently. So you have someone like Tiki Barber, whose wife is pregnant, and then he leaves his pregnant wife for a new woman. So I remember that was one thing that he got a lot of, he got a lot of flack for that. But he was saying that they had kind of started falling apart while she was pregnant, But just from my experience, I know how my brother's wife had 4 kids with him, and he would always tell me, man, when a woman get pregnant, the hormones get all out of whack. So I don't know what was going on with Tiki and his wife at the time, but it does seem like bad form when you have a pregnant spouse and you go, yeah, I think we need to see other people. Matter of fact, Tom Brady did that. He wasn't married to it. Was the chick Bridget Moynihan? She was pregnant. Everybody forgets, Tom Brady's got 3 sons. I think he got 3 sons and a daughter, or 2 sons and a daughter. But I think he got 2 because he got 4 kids, and two sons and a daughter with Giselle, and then Bridget Moynihan, his oldest son, is with Bridget Moynihan, and she was pregnant. Her and Tom were dating. She got pregnant. And they broke up. That's what it was. She was pregnant with a kid, and he was like, "Yeah, I think we need to see other people." That's foul, man. When you drop the baby in there, you move on. You're like, oh, I need to see somebody else. I mean, but from what I hear, he's had to pay several $1 million in child support, but he loves his son, so it's all good. Let me see. I thought Will Smith played him in Hancock. Oh, no. That was not. Let's see. The Barbie twin. I remember the Barbie. Do you remember the Barbie twins? They used to pose in Playboy all the time. They were dating that guy from what was that show? Easy Streets or whatever. No, what was it called? Wise Guys or Easy Street? There was they were both dating the same guy. They moved in with this guy, and then they broke up with him or whatever. It was horrible. I can't remember that guy's name. I think he's not alive anymore, but he was I think it was a show called Wise Guys or something like that on CBS. And he was like undercover agent that had infiltrated a mob, but he was dating both the Barbie twins. I was like, they were just being open about it. He was like, look, I'm dating both of them. I'm dating both twins, man. Don't hate on me. I'm dating both of them. And I'm like, I'm not hating on you, bro. I need you to teach me how you do that. Because you got both twins to live with you and kick it. That's moving up to the next side of the game right there. I need to know about that hustle. Let's see. Corylegend had a conversation about the impact of riots having a net positive impact commercially after. Well, I can see people getting jobs to help clean up this bullshit and fix stuff. That'll definitely happen. But again, the COVID's still out there. I just need to know, and there is some magic vaccine hadn't shown up yet or whatever. So I don't know. There's going to be things. This is going to have a long-term effect. So let's see. Interesting idea, but not sure it offsets the lot. Yeah. Well, there you go. I thought they were doing. I know they did some stuff on Skinamax. They did a movie. I remember they did some kind of movie on Skinamax. I mean, they did like topless stuff. I don't know if they did full hardcore, but they definitely did softcore. There was a movie on Cinemax, I remember, and had both of the twins in there. But yeah, they were dating this one. What's his name? Ken something. They were dating him. They all lived together and stuff. It was like, I thought that was dope. I was like, because I always thought it was dope when Hugh Hefner had all them girlfriends. I was like, yo, Hugh Hefner got all these chicks, man. Look at this. And then you hear some of the ones that used to live at the Playboy Mansion. And when they leave the Playboy Mansion, they all say horrible stuff. They talk about, they weren't really into Hugh and they just wanted it, but he was nice and he was giving them presents and stuff. And I was like, yeah, he's like 70 something years old. I know they don't really like him like that. I know better than that. He's like 70 something years old at that point. I was like, whoa, how old was he when he died? Was he like 89, 90 or so? I don't know how old he was when he passed, but yeah, this time he was like, they would go on like Howard Stern and stuff. And they were like, yeah, he was a sweet guy, or Hef, my bad. They all called him Hef. He was like, Hef's a sweet guy, but yeah, it'd be like 4 women in the bed. And, he had the main girl that was his main chick that slept in his bedroom. Because there was I've seen a couple of interviews with Hugh's main girls, his number one girl. He was like a pimp. And, they say a pimp have what they call a bottom bitch. And the bottom bitch is the one that's down from day one. She's the one that's over all the other girls and all this stuff. So Hugh kind of ran his chicks like that. He had a main chick that was his main girl, and then the other girls didn't sleep in the main bedroom with it. And there was multiple girls that were Hugh's number one girl that have told him kind of stories like, yeah, I slept in the bedroom with Hugh, and then the other girls would come in. They didn't sleep in the bedroom with us unless something was going on or whatever. If they're having fun together, then them girls would come in, but they would get the hell up out of there. When they go to bed, it was just him and the number one chick. So that's how Hugh ran his situation. He would be like, all right, you the number one. So you the main one. You get to sleep in here with me. The rest of the girls sleep in the other rooms. So there's been more than one girls that have said that kind of thing. Let me see. Q Nerd, are you interested in fantasy stories or sci-fi of any kind? Love sci-fi. Love fantasy stuff. Throw me some stuff. What do you? Because that's one thing I saw that came out about a week ago is that the Amazon Lord of the Rings show is postponed. It is not going to be coming on. It's supposed to come on next year, and I guess because of the delays with the COVID and everything, they're having to push it back. I was getting excited because they're spending over $200 something million to do this show. So I'm very curious how that was gonna work out. I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, even though this show is set like 500 years before all the other stuff happened. So not exactly sure how. I mean, I think it's stuff that was covered in the Silmarillion, but I guess Amazon's Lord of the Rings show has been pushed back. So, but yeah, Cute Nerd, give me some stuff. Let's see. What about Hugh pimping hoes for that? Well, yeah, I got hoes. I got hoes in different area code. I got hoes. I need to, when I get off the air, I'll have to pull that song up. Y'all got me thinking about that song. I'm like, Hefner got a public pimp that didn't get the condemnation pimps used to get. Well, Hugh got to. The thing is, I'm not. That's why I'm saying I respected Hugh Hefner. I like. Here's the thing. I had so many people that was like, "Hey, go on the stream and make fun of Preston Poulter." Anybody that's listening to my podcast, Sexy Party, they know I'm a freak. I'm a pervert. So what would I look like going on talking shit about Preston getting rammed up the ass when I've talked about all kind of freaky shit I've done on the air? So that would make me look like the biggest hypocrite on the planet. So that's why I didn't say. I was like, that's not on me. Whether I like Preston or not, I'm definitely not gonna vilify him for weird. Even though what he was doing was not into me. One thing I always would say on Sexy Party is, hey, own your sexual journey, man. Whatever you're into, own that shit. If you own it and you're truthful about it, then people can't use it against you. It's all this, I'm doing the shit on the down low and not being honest about what you're into. That's what, then when people find out, then you're embarrassed. Oh shit, if you don't got it out there and you put it out there what you're doing, then it's like, man, he done told us he been doing that shit for years. That's not a secret. And what it is, and then you don't have people watching videos or you get rammed up the ass and stuff. So I mean, it is what it is. But that's why, yeah. So that's what it is. Let's see. Corylegend. I was not following the Lord of the Rings show on Netflix. Didn't realize it was set in the old. Well, it's gonna be on Amazon. It's gonna be on Amazon, not Netflix. Netflix tried to get the rights to the show, and they got outbid by Amazon. So yeah, it's gonna be on Amazon, but like I said, it's got pushed back. It's supposed to be like 500 years before the events of the first Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit or whatever. So, well, hell, the Hobbit set like 70 years before the events in the what was it? What is it? Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers, and then Return of the King or whatever the hell the books are. So, one thing to be afraid, but a different story, especially since he was called. Yes, and I'm not saying there was not some hypocrisy there, because I definitely saw him calling people cucks and doing all that kind of thing, and that's why I'm saying I'm not gonna sex shame anybody, because I know, like I said, I've talked about all kind of stuff, sex toys and freaky shit, and done, you know what I'm saying, threesomes, and did this, and you know what I'm saying. I done talked about all kind of freaky stuff on Sexy Party, so that's what I'm saying. I'm not gonna sex shame anybody, but the reason I'm not gonna sex you, because people, that's what it's so funny, because people, and then people's like, oh, Antonio, you did this or whatever. And I go, yeah, the only reason you know that shit is because I told you. You weren't able to go up and dig up personal information about me on the internet. But like I said, I'm all about people owning their sexual. If you're a freak, own that shit. And then once you own it, they can't use it. Every time Preston talks from now on, there's always going to be like weird memes of him from the videos and different stuff like that, and it's just he loses a lot of, not that he had much credibility, but the credibility that people go, yeah, you're right, confiscate is evil, blah blah blah. Here's Preston getting pounded up the ass. It's that the memes will keep going for years and years. It's not ever gonna stop while he's doing this stuff. So, but like I said, I'm like, if you're into that stuff, just be honest and own your sexual truth, man. That's the only thing, because like I said, I've done all kind of freaky shit with different consenting females, and I'm not ashamed of what I did. I'm on that grown man shit. Whatever I did, Sashi, me and Sashi were on there, and we talked about having our anus. We were looking up anal stim, where you get somebody would stick something up. We were doing all that. Them shows are still available, like on iTunes and stuff like that. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not judging anybody for any of their sexual decisions or any of that kind of stuff. It is what it is, but don't try to shame other people or call other people names, and then when they find out your shit, you go, oh shit, you go into victim mode, talking about all lawyers are going to get involved and all this other shit. So I'm like, okay, man, there you go. Just own that shit, man. It is what it is, bro. Preston's mistake was not being a perv. It was moralizing, defaming. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if he had just been like, yo, man, I'm into this shit, deal with it, then everybody would be like, oh damn, okay. That's what it is. They might talk about it for a few minutes, but they're like, you're not weaponizing it against him, because he owned that shit and he's just saying what he's into. And there's, I talk to all kind of, I got friends that are like bisexual and stuff, and they've been with men and stuff. I was like, yeah, I'm not into that shit, but that's you. Do you, man. Whatever you're into, own it, and don't try to use that to get at other folks, man. So as long as you do that shit, it is what it is. So let's see, Fellowship. Oh yeah, Fellowship in the Ring. That's the first one. Yeah, Lord of the Rings fans better brace themselves. They're about to ruin it. I am curious about how they're going to do, because I suspect Lord of the Rings on Amazon might be a little woke. And yeah, it might. And when it gets woke, I go to sleep. When it gets woke, I go to sleep. So, let's see. FYI, sex party streams are not safe for work. I learned it. Oh my God, yes, they are definitely not safe for work. That's why they call sexy party. It's for adults. It's definitely not meant to be when you're listening to Sexy Party, which I'm looking forward to bringing that back. I just don't have time right now, because I'm just sitting here, like, I'll get off here and I'll go back to packing comics and stuff like that, and just get back to work and getting ready for the next shipment to go out. So I just don't, I just want to get out here and talk to you guys for a little while, and let the people see that I'm still alive. Hey, all right. Preston was calling other people. That's why I'm saying, it is what it is, man. Whatever you're into, you should just be into that shit and just own it, and just whatever it is, Yeah, that's what it is. So, boom. Let's see, Black Elves. I suspect we will have a very racially diverse cast of elves. I always thought that's one thing I noticed. I watched his Dark Materials. I sat there and watched all the episodes. It was 8 episodes for this first season. I don't know when season 2 is coming back. It was picked up for a second season, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed his Dark Materials, but there was one thing I noticed. Everybody was married to someone of another race. That was weird. And it's not, obviously I've dated interracially, so that's not the problem. It just seemed like they made a point. Everybody, like the white women were married to black dudes, the white guys were married to black women. Everybody was, all the children were like biracial and everything. I was like, that was weird. And I know that when the author created the book, that wasn't what was intended. So I was like, I get that you're trying to be inclusive, but they went so overboard on it. They went, like, when they were doing the Egyptians, all the Egyptians were like, they were intermarrying each other. So it was like the king of the Western Egyptians was a black guy, but then they had like a white woman with half black children. And it was like they had all this stuff. I thought that was weird. I was like, everybody. I was like, there's a lot. And then when the one guy would go over to the other world, he was trying to find, I guess somebody from their world had crossed over into our world, and they were trying to find out, they were starting to find these little cracks where you could cross back and forth between the planes. And he was trying to find this guy who had apparently had a child with this black woman in our world or whatever, but he was actually from their world. It was, the whole thing was weird. I don't know. It's like, I was like, okay. I'm trying not to be too hard, because when I was a kid, I didn't see black people on TV very much at all for a while. You'd see, there'd be a show like Good Times or the Jeffersons, and then you wouldn't see any, and when a black person would show up, it'd be a very special episode. It was like Different Strokes. Gary Coleman and Todd Willis was the only black people on that show. Everybody else was white. It was, and they're the stars of the show. They're the stars of the show, and they're the only 2 black people on the show. And so I'm sitting there going, oh wow, that's but he got adopted. He got adopted by Mr. Drummond and got to live. And then they do, this racist white guy doesn't understand that this black guy is actually Mr. Drummond's son, because I remember they brought Dabney Coleman in. He played a racist guy that harassed, I think it was Willis, and he harassed Willis, or he didn't believe that he was actually Phil Drummond's son, and then he was like, "Hey, that's my son, you racist." It was like the whole thing. They kept doing, and they did the weird molestation episode, which is on YouTube. When Arnold almost got molested by the guy that used to be the Maytag repairman in the commercials. The guy that almost molested Arnold was the Maytag guy. He used to do those Maytag commercials. So every time I would see those Maytag commercials after that, I'd be mad at that dude. I was like, you almost molested Arnold, man. That dude, he's got Arnold taking his clothes off. He was sitting there in his that whole molestation episode of Different Strokes. It is cringy to watch it. I cannot believe they had to put a disclaimer at the beginning of it, because that's obviously a mature subject matter. Wow. That episode, like I said, people have loaded that up on YouTube. It is cringy to watch that episode. It was almost as bad as remember that pilot in Airplane? That pilot that was clearly a child predator. He'd be like, Hi, PJ. Do you like Roman gladiator movies? It was that dude was always, and that's the guy from what was the guy? He was the guy from Mission Impossible. He was James Arnett's brother. That was the Marshall Dillon on Gunsmoke. I think he was James Arnett was his older brother, but he was the mission leader on Mission Impossible. But he was the pilot on Airplane, and he was clearly a child predator. He would be asking these. So, have you ever been in a Turkish bath? Asking like an 8-year-old boy crazy stuff like, and those jokes will never fly on. Sometimes I kind of miss the way we used to be, but everything's so censored now. You'll never get those kind of. And Airplane's still a classic movie, but that stuff would never get greenlit in Hollywood today. It was like the stuff they were doing. I was like, matter of fact, they did that one scene. It was the two little white kids. Remember, the white boy walks up. He's got like a little tray with refreshments on it. He's got a little pot there, and he's got like two teacups. And he walks up to the little white girl. She's sitting on the airplane, and he's like, "You mind if I join you?" And she's like, "Please." And he's like, "Can I get you some coffee?" "Yes." "And how do you take it?" And she said, "I'll take it black." And this girl's like 8 years old, and she's drinking the cup of coffee. She said, "I'll take it black." And she goes, "Just like my men." She's an 8-year-old girl, and she said that, and I was like. Somebody showed me that clip. I've probably seen Airplane 50, 60 times. That stuff completely went over. I remember the chick that was June Cleaver. She was a jive interpreter. All this stuff that they were doing, and like you just summer now on the summertime. So then whatever that jive stuff they were talking, that stuff was crazy on that. But Airplane 2 was trash. It should have never got made. It was horrible. That movie was terrible. But yeah, with the little girl. The little white girl says she take the coffee black like her men. I was like, all right. And then that set the course of my life right there at that point. Let me see. Let's see. Well, Voyager gave us diverse focus. Yeah, if that is as far as they go, it will be. Yeah, I agree with that because I didn't have a problem with Tuvok. Because you started seeing in the Star Trek movies in the 80s that they started going, okay, when we go to Vulcan, everybody can't just be a white Vulcan. It's like, so we can have some Asian Vulcans. We can have, a Hispanic Vulcan. It's okay to have a black Vulcan. I remember when they were bringing Spock back, they had some black Vulcans there. So I was like, I was like, okay, they got black Vulcans. Okay. I didn't, I'm not freaking out. So let me see. Let me see here. They will race swap established characters, but they won't green light original stories created by black people. That's also true. Very, very true. Let me see. Let's see here. All right. Loving the art behind you. Yes. Okay. Sanford Green. That is Sanford Green. And then you've got Matthew Weldon. And then hold on a minute. Boom. And then you've got Shinobi Sasquatch, Rob Willis. That's the Dark Santana variant. And over here on my side, I've got the actual original cover to Shinobi Sasquatch. And then I've got the Kanan White's original art for the She cover. And I've got the Santana Baby original cover art. I've got a page from the Fame book that Demetrius sent me because I loved one of the pages he did. And I've got a page from Bigfoot Bill from Doug to Naples. And then I've got some other art hanging. Oh yeah, Manasseh Johnson, the variant there. I've got, so all my walls, I'm actually gonna sell some of this stuff off because I gotta make room for some of the other art. Let's see. It's like that in the commercials now. If a couple isn't a minority, it's weird. Like I said, and it doesn't. It seems like they're just doing this weird casting. And it's not to reach me. It's when they do these things, they're not trying to reach me. I'm already black. So when they put black people in, they're not trying to reach me. They're trying to reach you. They're trying to reach the white people that are listening to me right now. So those weird interracial couples that they just shoehorn in there, they're trying to show, hey, black people are okay eating Cheerios. Just you're white and you eat Cheerios. This interracial couple is raising their interracial daughter and they're eating Cheerios. That's what that is. So that's what they're not trying to reach me because I'm already black. I'm black every day. So let me see. Godai says the leftists keep black people out of tokenized. Now they keep that token and shit with recent shows like Black. Oh God, I stopped watching Black Lightning. I stopped watching. I stopped watching all the CW shows. I gave up. And that chick that left Batwoman, I'm surprised they didn't just cancel that shit. They trying to find a new bitch to play her. I'm like, oh, that's crazy. Worst was the Ghostbusters. Oh my God. Oh yeah. I was like, yo, when you watch Maggie, you watch some of those old movies, man. That shit is kind of, oh man. I was like, never fly Snickers. I was like, boom. So there you go. Man, y'all, the chat is just y'all off the hook in here. Hold on, let's see what's up. Oh yeah, I love it. Yeah, man. Excuse me, ma'am, but I speak jive. Yeah, they're like that movie. Like I said, they would release Airplane now, and it would be all woke and everything. Oh yeah. Oh, here's what's the guy's name? The like I said, he was on Mission Impossible. Was it Peter Sellers? I can't remember his name. But like I said, I know his real last name is Arness because James Arness, Marshall Dillon from Gunsmoke was his brother. So yeah, he was. I think it's Peter Sellers because he was also on. He was on Biography. I used to watch A&E Biography, and he was the voice on that guy. But have you ever seen a grown man naked? Yeah, he would ask this little boy all these horrible questions, and I was like, oh God, yeah. Let me see here. Man, y'all just it was pretty fearless taking it. Yeah, well, like I said, I kind of miss like shows like the Jeffersons would not be made the way they are now. Shows like the Jeffersons wouldn't get greenlit. Archie Bunker definitely. Archie Bunker was a notorious bigot. You know, he would be saying all kinds of stuff. They would have Archie Bunker on now, and they would be the network CBS would be apologizing every other week for a joke if they kept it the way it was supposed to be. So he was like, yeah, you got your Italians and your blacks and he would say something, Archie Bunker would say something outrageous, and now the network would issue a statement and apologize for him immediately. They wouldn't just go, all right, we pissed some people off, let's keep going. And that's why the Richard Pryor show, when I think when that aired in like 1979, 78 or so, the Richard Pryor show was on NBC, and it only ran for 6 episodes because he said, damn, every week I have to argue with you guys about, he was kind of like some of the stuff you start hearing Chappelle say when Chappelle walked away from the Chappelle show. He got tired of the damn censors and having to argue with that shit every week and try to get a joke through. Well, you can say this, but you can't say that. And you can say, he talked about some of that in the last special on Netflix. What the hell is that? That's what I'm saying. That's why I need to chat. I can't remember what the hell the name of the last Dave Chappelle special. Not Equanimity. It was hilarious though. That last Dave Chappelle show, and I saw people getting so triggered off Dave Chappelle. It was hilarious. But that's why I loved it, because he just didn't give a fuck. He just said whatever. You could tell he had full control. There was nobody. Netflix didn't step in and go, well, Dave, we're not comfortable broadcasting these jokes. He got to say whatever he wanted. You could tell he had complete 100% editorial, and that was it. So that's why it was so good, and that's why it resonated. And they said Louis C.K. special is really good too. I still haven't watched that one, but they said Louis C.K. put out a special. He pissed off a bunch of people, and that was okay. Let me see here. Boom. Corylegend, you can get away with that coffee black kid joke with a trans. Oh God, no, that would be. I gotta be honest. That would be even. Yeah, but that's how they would do it now. They would put a trans kid. They would put a trans kid in that same. They would do that same scene, but the kid would be trans. And it was like, I like my coffee black like my men, and it would be okay because it's okay to sexualize young trans kids or young gay. I was like, that stuff is, I don't know, man. But I can honestly, I think that's right. I think if they would pull that same joke and then they would make the kid like a little gay black boy or something. They would make him like a little gay trans black boy, and then he would be able to tell that same. You would never see a little white girl saying that she liked the coffee black like her men. They would say that that's a little young black trans boy. And then all of a sudden, oh, okay, it's okay because we can't say anything because that's how they weaponize people's sexualities and they use your race, because if you say something, then all of a sudden you're a bigot. And it's like, no, I'm not a bigot. Why is a child talking about sexuality at all? There you go. I mean, that's where I would be with that, but that's what it is. Let me see. Listen, I know you're a WWE fan. I got followed by Sergeant Slaughter. He be just following people. I've been following him for a while. He don't follow my ass. At ease, disease. I loved him on G.I. Joe, though. Yeah, there you go. Let's see. All right. I live in Chicago. Where's my book at? Well, Armor Guard, Bitter Sua. I've actually shipped a few to Chicago, but I obviously have not shipped your particular order, but I am about to get back to packing. I tell you what, though, if you will contact me, either send me a DM on Twitter or send me an email through the Indiegogo, I will get your backer number and I will make sure that your book is in the next shipment. But I had people, they show up in the chat, they go, Antonio, where my book at? And I go, hey, contact me and I'll ship it. And they never contact me. So I'm telling you, if you contact me or send me a DM so I can get your backer number, I promise you your book will be in the next shipment. But if you don't do anything, I can't promise that. If you don't contact, I'm telling you now, contact me. If you contact me, I will make sure in this next outgoing shipment, I will toss your book in there and make sure that it arrives safely to you in Chicago, hopefully not getting looted and burned. It was like, with my luck, I'll be watching CNN or something, and a mail truck in Chicago gets turned over and burned and looted, and it has your book in there. Like, your book will be getting burned. And like, I'll be like, yeah, let me just send it to Chicago now, and it'll get burned. But yes, if you contact me, I'll hook you up. I will make sure I find your order and send it out to you. Let me see. Laugh Out Now, no, they are replacing Batwoman with a new character that is. Either way, I won't be watching. Batwoman is fucking awful. It is terrible. I tried to get through that shit. It was terrible. Okay. Oh, okay. The dude's name Peter Gray, not Peter. Peter Sellers is the Pink Panther guy, isn't he? Peter. Yeah, Peter Sellers is the Pink Panther, or is he Columbo? Wait a minute. Who is the no? Okay, Peter Sellers is Peter Sellers Columbo, or is he the Pink Panther guy? He might. Oh my, because I think both guys are named Peter, but I don't know. I remember Columbo. I love Columbo. So anyway, let me see. Let's see. In the 1989 movie Al Pacino, Sea of Love, Samuel L. Jackson is credit. Oh wow, is that in the credits? I need to find that. That's great because I've actually seen that movie a few times. The black guy, Samuel L. Jackson. That's great. I love that. That's awesome. He's just the black guy. They let me see. What about they pull out pedophiles when it comes to what they call trans kids? Yeah. Well, you can watch something I've talked about a few times. That documentary, I think it's on Vimeo now because they pulled it off of YouTube. Somebody got that thing pulled off of YouTube because I know some of the people that were talked about in the movie. It's called An Open Secret. They have a Twitter account and everything. It's called Open Secret, but they took that thing off of. They took it off of YouTube, but they loaded it up on Vimeo. But they edited out a few minutes of it because they actually lost a lawsuit because some of the people that were portrayed it, they said, "Hey, these guys lied on us, so they obscured the facts, and we weren't really pedophiles." But they had all this other stuff that the court wouldn't let them show, and all this, like the stuff about Bryan Singer. There are multiple people that have come out and say, "Oh yeah, I had sex with Bryan Singer. Oh yeah, Bryan Singer would go to these hot tub parties." I'm just saying, allegedly, because I know that dude got paper and lawyers. All of a sudden, I'm gonna be getting my ass sued. You see me on there like, "Oh damn, Bryan Singer sued my ass." I'm like, allegedly. As was foretold in the Open Secret thing, he was going to these hot tub parties where they were having young underage men. And in exchange for some of these young men cooperating with him, one of the young men that apparently got in the hot tub with Bryan Singer ended up in the X-Men movie. Which he is actually in the X-Men movie. So I've seen the X-Men movie, which obviously was directed by Bryan Singer. But again, this is all alleged since there are lawsuits and different things. So I obviously was not there. and this is all alleged. He has maintained his innocence, and even though he is open about his sexuality, he has always said that anyone that he has been with has been consenting adults. So Bryan Singer says he is innocent. So I need to make sure I say that, because I know these people will sue my black ass and they will take every little penny I have. So he has always said Peter Falk is Columbo. Okay, so they all play. Peter Sellers is Pink Panther. Peter Falk is Columbo. So we got how many damn Peter? And then Peter, whatever his name was, from Mission Impossible. Let me see. Waiting for afternoon, Antonio. Well, afternoon. Boom. All right. So I remember when DC Comics hijacked Detective Comics, and when they first introduced Batwoman, it was a terrible run, but J.G. Jones are really good. What R was good. Okay, you lost me there. You were flowing into that last sentence. J.G. Jones. I thought he was about to talk about Jeff Jones, or Jeff Johns. I guess it's Johns, right? It's not Jeff Jones. It's Jeff Johns. I guess I should ask Ethan. Ethan should tell me. It's like it's Jeff Johns, right? Not Jeff Jones. Jones. Me and Mrs. Jones. Mrs. Jones. All right. Allegedly. Okay, hold on. Here we go again. Allegedly, Hollywood has been dealing in pedophilia since it started. See the pics of kids in burlesque. Yes. And those pictures are still available online. But again, all this is alleged, because one thing we know with Hollywood, they got hitters, they got money, they got people that fix things. That's why if anybody watched that show on Showtime, the Ray Donovan, that was his whole thing. Ray Donovan was one of these Hollywood fixers. He was employed by rich people that when they would do stuff, like in the very first episode, the dude killed somebody by accident, and he called Ray Donovan, and Ray Donovan had to make it go away. That's what he was doing. And then as it went on, Ray Donovan started going, maybe I shouldn't be helping y'all cover up all this stuff. And he started changing some of he started changing the show. The show's changed. I hear it's gonna come back for one more season, and then they're gonna be done with it. But I always like Ray Donovan because Liv Schreiber, I love him. He's incredible. His brother Pablo, Pablo Schreiber is supposed to be Master Chief on the Showtime Halo series, which was greenlit, but with all this stuff, I don't know if they're even still. They were just in development like a year ago. I don't know if the Showtime HBO series is still. The Showtime Halo series is still going to happen. But Pablo Schreiber, who was on The Wire, he was in the second season of The Wire, and he was one of the dock workers. But he's Liv Schreiber's younger brother. A lot of people don't know that, but he's supposed to be Master Chief. So I was looking forward to watching the Halo series, but I don't know if it's going to happen now, because they were saying that Spider-Man 3 was supposed to start shooting. Spider-Man 3 was supposed to start shooting within the next few weeks. They had already, they had the script ready. It was supposed to be, they were in pre-production. Now Spider-Man 3, they're saying that they might not even be able to start on anything till maybe next year. So Spider-Man 3 was supposed to be shooting in the fall. And, they had already started shooting Venom last year. I don't know if it's completed. I've seen some of the scenes, like on, I've watched Emergency Awesome and some of those channels, and they had some, like somebody sneaking a cell phone in there and showing some of the footage of Woody Harrelson as Cletus Cassidy, Carnage. So I was curious to see what was going on. Oh man, Wanted is dope. That first one was definitely dope. And the movie's all right. Let me see. Ray Donovan based on a real. Oh, really? Okay, but that's that's the whole point of the character of Ray Donovan. He fixes things. And I'm not talking about traffic tickets. This dude, you have drug charges, all kind of stuff. He makes it go away. I mean, like I said, the dude woke up and he had a dead body in his bed. He called Ray Donovan. Oh man, I got a dead body. I gotta go. And then this other dude, he got busted because he was a homosexual. And he got into a fight with one of the lovers or whatever, and he's like a big Hollywood actor. They were kind of playing like it was, because they used to say Tom Cruise was gay all the time. They were kind of playing it like he was on that level, like he's a Tom Cruise type guy. They used to say Tom Cruise was homosexual all the time. He actually sued some people for saying he was homosexual. And they stopped talking that shit. He started, when you get them lawyers, they're like, hey, this dude said I was gay. Handle that. And I remember, hell, they Tom Cruise sued the paper. And I remember Tom Hanks, somebody told some lies on Tom Hanks. It was a European paper, and he sued the paper. The paper was going to have to bankrupt themselves. They didn't have the money to pay the lawsuit. And instead of putting all those people out of work, I remember Tom Hanks was like, I want a full page retraction of the story and an apology. So the newspaper front page, they apologized to him and all that. And he was like, that's all I want. Y'all don't got to pay me no money or nothing, but y'all going to print a full page retraction. And after that, but I mean, that's when you know you a boss, when you got that kind of money where you can send your lawyers and make people shut up. Because sometimes the lawyers can make people shut up even when they're telling the truth. People are saying true things and your lawyers show up. If you got the right lawyers, it don't matter if what they saying about you is true or not. These people will shut up because they don't have the money to fight you in court. And I know somebody like Tom Cruise got hundreds of millions of dollars. So I know, like I said, there's been some, like, especially over in Europe and stuff, some of those papers have accused him of being homosexual and stuff. And he'll put them lawyers on him, they'll go away. They'll be like, oh yeah, let's not talk about Tom Cruise no more. He sues people. So that's what it is. So yeah, let's see. Cartoon channels turn into reality shows when kids say a lot. The stuff that I'm seeing on these cartoon channels now, they're specifically doing stuff. They're making sure. I'm seeing some of the new programs. There's a new show on Hulu with a little black girl that's been adopted by like two gay parents. I think both the parents it might be one black parent and one gay parent, but one black parent, one white parent, but they're a gay couple and they've got this little black girl. And then there's another show on Cartoon Network where the parents are gay. It seems like that's what they want to do now. And my ex was bisexual, and me and her used to argue about that stuff. She was like, she felt that is the right thing to do. I feel like that's a little weird to put that stuff in children's programming. There's a new show on Netflix, and these are all little kids, and the guy was like, dude, I'm gay. And these are supposed to be like little 12-year-olds or whatever. And he was like, I'm gay. I'm like 12 years old. I'm like, okay, is that what we doing now? So I was like, is that gonna be in all the entertainment now? I was telling my brother about some of this shit, and he was like, I'm glad my kids are almost grown. He said, because I had to, three of his kids are 18 or older, and then just got one more kid that's about to be 14 in a couple more months or whatever. And then, so you just got to worry about him. But everybody, oh God, it was just, it's crazy. But he's just like, I'm just glad I'm not having to deal with a lot of, boom. Let's see. They expose themselves for their own entertainment because they know they can just discredit anyone. Yes, it's true. This is very true. Let's see. Liv wasn't incredible as Sabretooth. That was he was better than the other. The other guy was the wrestler. I remember when in X-Men 1, they had Sabretooth and it was terrible. Liv was definitely better as Sabretooth than the other guy. He was like 10 times better than the other guy. I can't remember, because I think that the guy that played Sabretooth, the wrestler guy, he's dead. I think that's the guy that was Test in the WWE, because the guy that played Test, he's dead now, but he was Wolverine. He was Sabretooth in the first X-Men movie, but yeah, I don't know, steroids, or he committed, so I don't know what happened to him. I know he's no longer with us, and a lot of these wrestlers, they just boom, they just go too soon. Money absolutely talks. Mr. Zay Comics. I see y'all's book, man. Y'all book is doing really well, man. What's it called? The Lost Pages. Yeah, man. Congratulations on that. Got the Simon Bisley cover. All right, man. Yeah, somebody drop that in the chat if you can, if you will. Yeah, Zay Comics. Yeah. Yeah, the Lost Pages. Let me see here. Let's see. Kids need adventure. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If I'm making a program for children, I'm not going to put anything about sexuality in the cartoon. Not because I'm a bigot, because they're children. But you say that, and they try to spin it as if you're a bigot. I do not think that children of a certain age, like if you're saying, oh, this should be viewed by children age 5 to 10 or whatever. I don't think I want to talk about trans issues or why Bobby wants to wear a dress or Bobby identifies as a girl even though he's a man. I don't want to have those kind of conversations with 5 to 10-year-olds. And then when they get a little older, we can have those conversations. There's nothing wrong with having the conversation, but I don't think the children should be exposed to that stuff. That's just me. And so that's what it is, man. So yeah. Yeah, Simon. Yeah, okay, he got it in there. He got the thing in the chat there if you are interested in checking out yeah. Okay. Tyler Main was okay, so it's not Test, but Test is dead. I know the guy that was Test on the WWE is no longer with us, but I thought he played Sabretooth. Okay, but yeah, okay, so it's not Tyler Main was the original Sabretooth, but Tyler Main was definitely not as good as Liv Schreiber. Although Wolverine Origins is not a good movie, I do not dispute that it was not a good movie, but he was a much better Sabretooth than Tyler Main. I will say that. Let me see. They think other children. Yeah, well, either way, like I said, that's something. Me and my ex, we got into it because, like I said, she was in a relationship with a woman for like 5 years. And now that she's not with me, she's probably gone back to being with women. But she because that was one thing I noticed. We would be out having dinner or something, and if she seen a cute chick, I would look and she would look too. She was still interested in women, even though I felt she loved me, but she didn't stop being attracted to women. So she would talk about all the time. She's like, "Hey, we should invite her back to the place." And I was like, and I'd be like, "Are you serious? Or are you just making a joke?" Because I know how she is. I know how she is about. It was very hard for her to open up, but when we first met, she was very closed off about her sexuality and everything. So she wasn't really out there like that. But she would make these jokes about getting a girl and bringing her back to the house or something, And I'd be like, "Are you serious, or are you just making a joke?" I don't know. So, but she would do that. But I noticed that if I saw a chick that was cute, a lot of times she was looking too. Or I would see a girl that was cute, or she didn't agree that the girl was cute or something like that. So, boom, that's what it was. So, let's say it's the no escapism mentality. If you buy into it, there can be no neutral zone, and that's the thing. Like when I open my comic books, when I watch my television shows and all this stuff, I don't want to watch the real world. I want to escape to a fantasy world. I want to, I want to watch James Bond. I want to watch James Bond because he's trying to save the entire planet from a megalomaniac. And then, the megalomaniac is trans and his other secret agents is trans and all this. And they start inserting all this stuff. And I go, because this last James Bond movie that got postponed to November, and I'm not even sure the movie's going to come out this year now because they pushed Fast and Furious back to next year. But the James Bond movie got pushed back to like November. It was supposed to open this summer, but that was one of the big things that they were gonna leak out. They were leaking out that they were going to get real woke in this last James Bond because this is the what's the guy, Craig or whatever I can't remember his name, the guy that's playing James Bond now. He's this is obviously his last go as Bond. He's not doing it anymore, and they're trying to find another Bond. And they're like, "Oh, we'll get a black woman to play Bond. Oh, we'll get we want to actually have a woman play Bond. It doesn't have to be a black woman, but it'll be a woman. All this kind of different things that are really strange, and it's just boom. So there you go. That ain't no joke. Well, there you go. The monkey ain't no joke. Whew. All right, gotta run. Okay. Well, I miss doing these streams with you guys, but that's why I was like, you guys have been awesome. And, I just wanted to hang out with y'all for a minute. I loved talking to y'all, and you were a very talkative chat, which made my job very easy since I only had like a troll show up. I thought I'd have a co-pilot with me, and I did not get a co-pilot. I got your boy, Zach Troll. But it is what it is. But the show went on, and obviously, those of you that have, like I said, I'm still shipping books out. I'm going to keep shipping out. I'll get back to shipping right now, actually. And obviously, as it says on the bottom of the screen, you can back Brand Way of the Gun at AkariPress.com. Obviously, the link is in the description. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, right here on this YouTube channel. All at AkariPress, AkariPress.com. Take you to Brand Way of the Gun. Fun stream, guys. Love you guys. Peace.